Hello and welcome to Star Wars News and Weekly Comic Recap presented by Tales from the Dark Side. This week we're covering the new comic releases, Star Wars High Republic number 8, Star Wars High Republic, The Monster of Temple Peak number 1, first appearances, one after another as the novel characters continue to make their comic debuts. Hey, they were free, so this review is going to be free. No charge. We're going to go over the free comic book day issues from IDW and Viz. If the Force wills it, we may get a surprise guest. In fact, I'm pretty sure we will. If he finds it, well, he found his way out of the Temple of Willis in time to share some insight with us on the new Star Wars manga series. Save that one. Remember the large font blue box Funko Pops from 3 weeks ago? Probably not, but after this update, you might want to dig through your Christmas regift box, just in case. We get a helpful hand in discussing the influence that cloning has had on the galaxy, both pre- and post-Kamino, and who was and might be key to the impact of cloning in the galaxy to come. Lastly, we'll look at Bad Batch Episode 16, Kamino Lost. We'll rate the season finale, and I hope someone can find a reason to change my mind about it. Let's get it going, fellas.
Really? Hey, can we get your wife on for the review or no?
No.
Damn, man. One of these.
I'll tell you what she said, though.
All right, good stuff. A lot of the intro problems were my fault. Jedi was so mad that I did such a great job of using his intro last week when he wasn't here that I decided to throw him a couple curveballs. Appreciate it, Jedi. It is wonderful to have you back. Why don't you go around the horn and tell us who's here?
Okay. Hey, smuggling comics out of Kentucky ain't like dusting crops, boy. Without precise calculations, you might bounce too close to a precarious trailer park or stare too close to a spice lab. Then all your comics might fly right out the window. Just ask him. It's Macho Man Marco.
Nice guns.
Thank you.
Hey, he's conquering YouTube, and now he's on to Whatnot. He's bringing the heat. His merch is banging. His comics are razor sharp, legit, crispy. They're going to be major with WWE intro music, strobe lights, and turntables. It's Pete Rennavision.
Here, here.
What's up, guys?
Speaking of music, his lady took him to see his favorite band, Cosmic Limp Bizkit, at the Mos Eisley Civic Arena. When asked why she did it, she said, "I did it all for the Wookiee. Come on, the Wookiee. It's the mighty solo Wookiee." Hey, well, okay.
Sam's never been here for intros before, apparently.
No.
I wasn't ready for that one either.
Okay, I'm glad I got a good one. Maybe.
Sorry to interrupt you. Keep that flow going, baby.
No big sad eyes and tiny nose on this guy. But when he's excited, get ready for his dialogue bubble filled with top row shift characters. He did promise no bad lip syncing, though. It's Sam Triple Dodgeball.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, as a Jedi, he's seen angry Acklay, rampaging Rancor, crazed crate dragons, and the occasional Sith Lord, mostly in hollows and books, but still, he's seen them. Now he's using the funny side of the Force to unite the galaxy. Show your support with the hashtag Dad Jokes for a United Galaxy.
No.
Hi, I'm Jedi Johnson, and I approve this message.
Do not do that. Jedi, it is amazing. It's awesome to have you back. Thank you, and great intros. I think you finally outdid yourself. Yeah, I mean, that's just great.
I want to see that hashtag in the comments, fellas. Let's get it going.
So do not. You might get muted. All right, Astro.
I gotta clip that intro for myself. That might be my favorite one yet. That was awesome. That was
good.
Perfect.
Speaking of chat, Astro Wizard, good to see you. Ruben, always great to see you. Teenage, what? Dude, I can't do that. That's just too long. Teenage Mutant Ninja Greg. TMNT Greg. Is that what? Can we call him TMNT Greg? Let's just do that.
Yeah, is that really that much easier?
Yeah, it is for me. Brad, we got another lawyer in here. Man, we got too many lawyers around here. All right. Great intros. Thank you very much, Ruben. This week we brought Sam in. We're gonna go a little bit out of order because we've only got he's like a Red Star from MCM. I don't know if you guys are watching that, but definitely go check it out. Last night was I can only say ridiculous. It was great. There's good stuff there. Sam is a great asset to that show. Permanent fixture there. So check them out at Saturday night on this channel, on Tails channel. If you're on Rennavision, make sure you come over there, check that out. If you are on Tails, we are so close. We only need 60 more subs there, Pete. 60 more subs on Rennavision.
No,
I would love it.
Renovation,
I'd love it
Tails.
on Rennavision. I'd love it if you guys go over to Rennavision, give us those 60 subs when they're on vacation, so I can see Pete squirm and scream because he has to do a 1K giveaway. So if you want to see him do that,
I can't wait to do the 1K giveaway.
Call your friends, call your moms, call your sisters, call your cousins, call whoever, the dog across the street, get them subbed there, grab their phones, do it. All right. With that being said, let's start it off. We changed around a little bit of it, but we do. Oh, and JJ will be coming. He is doing a little bit of work. He's saving people's lives as he normally does and making sure that they don't take certain drugs with other drugs or something. I don't know what he does. But he's doing that, but he'll be in and out for a little bit.
You just ruined it at the end. You were fine.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what he does. He makes sure that people don't take the wrong drugs on top of the wrong drugs. But I mean, this is Star Wars, not a Pharmacy 101. So, yeah. All right, here we go. Let's share the screen.
We don't know what he does, but it's important. We know that.
It is. We do know that he's important. He's like, he's not like Paul W. important where he's like carrying hearts. Like I've seen Paul do the carry a heart thing, but he's still important. Yeah. All right, here we go. Okay, so we're going to start off. It's going to be a little out of order today. We've got a lot of firsts in some of this stuff. We're going to start off with the free comic book day. Sorry about the pictures, but the normal sources of scans that we couldn't get. So this is Marco's iPad 22 or whatever the last edition was. I don't know how to take pictures. I'm sorry. I don't do selfies. I have a wife, and she is very good at taking pictures and making me look terrible and her look great in them. All right. So it's a lot of black and white here. I actually liked a lot of the artwork. This is part of the reason why we have Sam here, because I have many questions, because I don't think, I used to read some of these, the Japanese ones in like the non-English versions of these, but I didn't understand a lick of them. So when I was a kid, because we used to eat at this udon shop a lot, but you get a little bit, what's his name? Somebody please, Stanlin? Yes. You get Stanlin, and then it breaks over to Lily, who is the new lead character. She's the person who is on the cover. We had a very interesting question from Sam about this other character, the master in there, which is Master Arukov. He would be the oh my god, I almost said the Chewbacca, which is the Wookiee. Yes. Hey, what was your question about it?
Well, my question was, I'm not deep into the lore like you guys are for sure, but Wookiees, I've never heard Chewbacca actually enunciate Chewbacca. So I was wondering, where do they get their names? Because they can't pronounce them. Are they given to them, or is it the translation? How do they articulate Chewbacca or Arkoff, as this guy's called?
Yes.
What's the deal there?
It's supposed to be a rough translation because they don't actually have the same vocal cords. It's also why you never hear like somebody. It's kind of like, it actually was a touchy subject because at one time they did try to make a noise to like to a Wookiee, like they're speaking. Whatever it's called, the K one. Shurika, but Shiraki, whatever. But the truth of the matter is, like, you don't have the vocal cords for it, so you can't pronounce their names. So it's like a rough translation to what their actual name would be. So yes, no, their name would be something like whatever. I'm not even going to try to do it because it'd be really bad.
No, come on, we'd like to hear it.
No, let's not do that. So either way, they do. Lily runs into some people that are traveling. They kind of explain the planet they're going to, and then it leaves us with this cliffhanger where they're calling out for her and for Master Rukov. The second half of this book was the Wills. I actually really like the storyline, and I hope these things aren't that expensive because I think I'm going to be buying for sure this. The first story was okay. Maybe not quite for me, or that's something I'll read eventually. But the Wills storyline was great. I thought everything about it was kind of cool. I actually thought this was going to be Skier here for a second, and it is not. It's just it's actually not even a Jedi. It's just some Trandoshan that is crazy and mad because the Empire scarred him up. This takes place right as the Stormtroopers and the Empire. This is way before Rogue One. This is probably going to be
6 months before.
Oh, you got it. There you go. 6 months before Rogue One. Look at that. And you see them occupying. But I think we're going to have a lot more. I hope at least we have a lot more stories because we do know that these two were also guarding an actual Temple of the Wills at one time that Hondo broke into, right? So I hope we're going to get the entire lead up and we're going to get some backstories, which I think we might get. And the play between Blaze. They're just,
Blades?
Blaze.
Blaze.
This guy, the guy with the long hair and the cannon gun.
Yeah.
The back and forth between those two guys is really good, and it translates. I thought they did a good job translating it from the movie to the TV show, or from the movie to the books. So I hope they continue with that. But is this so, Sam? My questions with this is because a lot of us we might know Star Wars, but I don't think Magna. I don't even pronounce it properly, right? So like Mega, whatever.
Manga. Yeah.
Manga. There we go. I don't think that's like our cup of tea here. So we brought you on here to
I happen to have some examples. Yeah. So this is kind of basically what it is. It's all black and white.
Okay.
Stuff that is translated from Japanese. Viz generally they don't reverse it. So you read it the opposite way.
Oh, yeah.
So the front cover goes on the back, and then you're turning pages this way.
So this is what they're going to be doing. This is what this thing's going to be.
Well, no. So this particular manga was written in English, I believe. So they are the way that you're used to, which is left to right versus right to left. But yeah, it's all black and white. They're doing just ink. Sometimes they'll add color pages, but these particular books did not have any color pages that I could see. The Garden of Wills is out now. You can buy it on Amazon or on Viz. It's $14.99 for paperback, $10.99 for digital. And then
how many pages does that usually get? What does that give us? It gives you a whole book, right? Though
Guardian of Wills is going to be 212 pages, I think. And
for $14?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. All right, I'm good.
It's like a novella.
And then the other one, Edge of whatever it is.
Yeah.
Is same price, and it's 198 pages, but that comes out in September.
Okay. And so is it as detailed? Typically, they're as detailed as that, like they were in that book, right? Like the first book, there was so much action. I know it's black and white, but like I don't know what you guys thought about it, but like there was a ton of action going on in a lot of those pages, and that's typically how it is too.
I'll tell you that most manga that I read or I've read is more detailed than this. So this is kind of a middle of the road example of the type of detail you end up getting with a manga. They used to be drawn on like giant pieces of paper, and then the manuscript is delivered to the publisher, and the publisher scans it and resizes it for the print version, and then the digital release. But now they're doing it on a digital tablet, right? Okay. Where they're doing all the drawings by hand on a tablet, and they can zoom in and make it as detailed as they need it to be. So you do get in a lot of manga, you get some very incredible detail. This one looks like, especially Garden of Wills, looks like it's a little bit less detailed than what you would get from a general manga, but it's still pretty high quality, I'd say. The other one, the older or the High Republic one, that one is pretty on par with a lot of the good quality manga that you might see.
So do you think manga people are going to like this? Like there is, I mean, I know I'm going to mess it up all the time. Is there something else I can call it? Like a Japanese comics?
Manga? Japanese comics? You call it, yeah.
Yeah, so like manga is a pretty simple word, but yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, I don't know what the trouble is there, Morocco. Why you can't pronounce it.
So Stop. With the Japanese, is this something you think will? There is. I don't know how much you know about, but there are Star Wars ones already, and a lot of them were based off of the movies. They were just kind of the basis. They were originally done in Japanese, and then they translated some of those over. And they're rarer. You know what I mean? And people do collect those. Is this going to be the same situation here? Do you feel? And do you feel it'll hit the market, or do you think this is just kind of try to geared at Star Wars fans to get them to read something else?
Yeah, I think this is. I don't think that this is the highest quality stuff in my opinion, but I think the Guardian of Wills was a decent story. It's already a novel, and this is a manga adaptation of that novel with characters that people already like. Right?
It's not really a novel, by the way. It's a small kids book.
Yeah. It's like a light novel or a kids level novel, but it's a short story. And these are characters that were fan favorites in Rogue One, and this trying to kind of capitalize on their popularity by giving them another story, and it's a prequel to their involvement in Rogue One on around the Temple of Kyber. So I think there's going to be some interest there. I think people really like them, kind of like with the whole idea of the characters in Mandalorian getting spin-offs and trying to capitalize on those. But manga doesn't have a real high resale value, honestly. They print so many of them. You can get them digitally. So if you're looking for these as kind of like spec items, I don't think that they have a lot of spec value, honestly. But they are good stories.
Cool.
I got a question. I don't want to go real far down a rabbit hole here, but so the original Star Wars story was printed back in 77, 78. It came out in a Japanese book. Is that considered manga too, or is that just considered something different? And again, like you said, it's not really expensive. I think you can find them on eBay for like $100 or so. I mean, they're not terribly expensive.
So there were a lot of manga adaptations or manga versions of the original trilogy that were produced many years ago. I don't know how expensive or inexpensive they are, but they did really well.
Know, are those considered manga as well? Any Japanese produced or version of a comic book like that, like the original Star Wars 1 through 6 in manga form, I guess that's considered manga, right?
Yeah, I would say the idea of what a manga is probably pretty fluid. Other than it's Japanese. It's kind of a serialized story rather than an episodic story. So it's a long form medium. So you'll see characters go through lots of changes rather than say like a He-Man where they start the episode and end the episode in the same position. Whereas in a manga, every chapter they're moving towards a final goal. And it's not episodic; it's a long form. So those are kind of the big differences that I would see versus kind of like an American comic, where the storylines are more episodic, more self-contained. You might have a series that has a long run, but then at the end of that series, they'll start over and tell a different storyline, and basically, like Peter Parker's going to be in the same place at the end of that arc as he was at the beginning. The other thing is, there's a lot of black and white, and the paper quality is just, like you might get from a typical novel. They don't do a whole lot of slick color prints. You can get those as like a collection, but generally speaking, the volumes like you see behind me here, it's just typical print paper. And
To be boiled to death. Cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
that's a good one.
We're talking about Star Wars, but man, One Piece is amazing.
I mean, as someone who when I was active duty, I spent several years in Japan, and you ride the trains in Japan. Especially the young kids, the young people, I'll say, they are in those books. Just about everybody riding the train is reading manga. So I mean, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, the way that they consume manga generally is there's a weekly magazine or several weekly magazines that get printed out, and then some monthly magazines, and they're just collections of a bunch of series, and they may be 200 or 300 pages thick, and they're magazine dimension, but they're just there's so many stories, and they're just flipping through them, and then every so often they'll do a collection of those weekly chapters into volume format, with like the one I was showing you just a minute ago.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that's kind of the format here. So you with these two books that you can get, the Guardian of Wills and the High Republic, they're already collected, right? You're not waiting for the weekly chapters to come out. It's already the 200 pages, which is a typical manga volume.
Is there odds that they're gonna typically do they do one-shot books like this, or do they usually do like a series? I have a feeling they usually do series, right? Like it's not. I'm hoping that they're going to have more of the Wills, is what I'm asking. Do you think there's a probability of that, or do you think it's like, no, this is probably just a one-off that they're... The
Guardian of Wills is just a one-off. That's my understanding. The High Republic one, that is a series, and they this preview here, I think, is chapter 1 or volume 1, and then I guess depending on its popularity, you probably see more.
Mm-hmm. All right, Chad.
6 months. It is 6 months before Rogue One. You don't have a lot of runtime.
No, I know, but
story anyway.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, if they do this story and then they do other ones, because there's been a bunch of little small tidbits in other comic books where they've given us like 1 or 2 pages and saying like, we're gonna give you the rest of the story, and they never have. Almost kind of like the Book of Hondo, where they give you a little bit here, a little bit there, and they never have. Chad, I'm not still hungover. Pedialyte has Freezy Pops now, so you can just eat those all day long. They're great. Want to say hi to everybody else. Leftover, good to see you. Comic Journey also.
All right, hang on, Chad. What? Is Dodgeball married? Yes, I am married. Because this isn't going to increase my chances. You know what? Chad? I have 7 kids, so suck it. All right?
7? Oh my gosh.
7.
Damn, slow down, buddy. You don't like to have money, do you?
Player in more realms than just the dodgeballs, buddy.
After this is a flow over. You can't have the MCM guys on here because this is how it started. Like, go back and watch what was going on there last night. There was something about a Trekkie convention too, which I don't know anything about Trekkie conventions, so it was really weird. But Andre, good to see you. Steve Horn, my man, good to see you too. Anyways, all right, enough of personal life with Sam. We're gonna get Jamie. Good to see you. Jamie, good to see you. I think you just missed it. And Darth Lopez, of course, he's always there. Hey, let's get back to the reviews before we get into more how many kids you should or shouldn't have. That's a lot of kids, Sam. What is wrong with you, dude? Like, seriously, that's way
What
too
is wrong with me? Dude,
I
pay the bills.
That's too many.
I can barely manage one.
Yeah, it's not about paying the bills, Sam. It's about your sanity. The Monster of Temple's Peak came out. We were looking forward to this book. It's the Calvin Scott. It was originally going to be the trade paperback, and then it turned into the it turned into comics now. I think they're going to split it off into JJ. How many? 8, right? 4. Starts out with this creepy girl with the missing tooth trying to listen to what the Jedi are saying, and then her uncle. This was out of place. I was disappointed. I actually might save off and wait till it comes out in trade paperback and just buy it that way. Because it seems like it was a little bit off. But we do get our first here for Ty York, who seems pretty cool. We've read it. We've read her before in the novels, and it wasn't. I thought she did pretty good. I thought they portrayed her well. She's a little bit of a smart ass too, which is kind of nice. Which I like. So she wasn't supposed to kill the beast, but instead, you knew it was coming. She ended up chopping off the head because apparently she's got fans that just go around and try to find her, which is an interesting take on it, which is kind of cool, right? Like, that's what this rabbit thing is. It's like it was just going around trying to, like, they heard that there was this Jedi hunter that's not part of the Jedi Order anymore. So they went out there and almost got eaten. She goes back to the spaceport, and then we see this part where I thought this was kind of cool. Well, who does this guy look like? The Bosso guy. Doesn't he look like somebody else? He looks like somebody from a cartoon. Doesn't he? No, am I wrong? Like a Sonic thing or something like that? I don't know. Anyways, so they're going back and forth. He smuggles these animals, and he was like, "Oh, it's like the guys in Florida with the anacondas, and they're always dumping them in the water." And she's like, "Hey, listen, man, I had to kill him, so whatever." But the Jedi come down, and they're looking for that guy for smuggling animals. She has to run away. She just throws him to the side because he tries to get on her speeder bike too. And he's like, "Nah, I'm going to give you the Jedi so I can get away." So she definitely doesn't want the Jedi finding her, which is interesting because we know that she kind of runs into some of them. Also, something in the Free Comic Book Day tells us that too. And then it goes back, and this character right here is kind of probably the most important character that came out this week, I'd say. JJ, correct? Yes, no?
Besides Ty York, or
besides Ty York.
Yeah,
I guess.
so.
Yeah. So Kalis Trenda, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The guy right there. And the reason why he's important is because if you guys remember, we always talk about it, how important the book of the Dooku book, The Lost Jedi is. Mm-hmm. When Sifo-Dyas was going in and was he the library or whatever, he was trying to go in and find out, the Sith artifacts, right?
Yep, the Bogan collection.
Yeah, the Bogan collection. They bring up this character right here. And the rumor is that he left the Order, but they also kind of hint that maybe he's been kicked out and nobody really knows what's going on. But he is he officially part of the Lost 20?
No, because he was only a Padawan, I think.
So he wasn't a Jedi Master.
Yeah.
But so between her, but this, obviously he's gone, and obviously she like hides herself from the Order, right? And her master doesn't seem to be dead either. That's the guy with all the eyes, Master Khabib, whatever.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, we're gonna go with that. All right, there we go. Shish Kebab, the Master Jedi. So, I thought it was pretty interesting. They definitely gave like 3 or 4 pages to that. So we'll see where it goes because it does seem like he's going to play a bigger role in it. Yeah. Which I think this is all once again leading to the Lost 20, which I hope we get.
All written by Kevin Scott. Also,
this
is
the
book.
I got a
everything.
quick question. So when I was reading this one, I assumed this took place before Rising Storm, or
it did.
Novel.
Yep.
This was before. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yes, JJ, that's how you took it too. Well, this part for sure was where she's knocking down what's his name, because that was flashbacks. But
yeah, because the novel, we kind of talked about it just a second ago, but she doesn't seem to have as much problem interacting with the Jedi. So I assume by trying to hide her identity, this is before. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest, I skipped over the thing that kind of describes it at the beginning. So
I do too.
I always skip over those.
Me too. There's 4
scroll or whatever you want to call it.
So stupid. There's so many of them. Anyways, we run into her robot too that she will not change the name for, which is Kalo 03 or something like that. Who cares? But it's kind of cool to actually see it, I guess. And then she's got her little like dice thing game that she throws for luck to see if she's going to do jobs or not. It was described in the novel. It's just good to see these all visually. She ends up on the planet, and then we come back to them talking about this great beast that's attacking the people and another weird alien type character. I know they're all aliens because I know it's Star Wars, but still, that's what we refer to. And then we get the uncle guy, and he somehow lost a bunch of weight, but his haircut's similar to the same, maybe aged. I don't know. They don't really give us a timeline on that one. And then the girl, I think that is the girl, right? The girl with the chipped tooth now can't speak. She's deaf because she screamed. Is this what we got out of this? This is why we need the whole book, because I think they kind of went back and forth with it and kind of screwed it up. They give us one more, and then they actually start to talk about the dark side realms that my man here was getting involved with. So hopefully we get to see more of Kalis and his whatever he did to get it expelled / quit the Jedi Order, which we naturally assume has to deal with a lot of the Sith.
I think he got erased too. Didn't he get erased from the records?
No, it was so far that it was such a high level they couldn't get into it. Remember, they were trying to get into it because they thought it was erased, and then I think it was like they just couldn't get into it because they didn't have time and they were going to get caught. Either way, it comes back to this segment right here, and I want to read the next page. Like, there's some invisible being that's in a spider web, and then they stop it. So that sucks. Like, I just would rather have it in a TPB at this point, I think.
There's a very Lord of the Rings vibe there with like the giant spider. Yeah.
I don't know what you guys thought about it, but I mean I liked it, but I was just like I think they probably should have put it out as a TPB.
I think I agree. I liked the art. The story seemed okay, but I agree with you that like the pacing seemed off and
Yeah.
I felt like if I read it as one long graphic novel, like it was supposed to be originally, it would have been better.
You can't
Yeah.
break those things up all the time. They don't make natural breaks. If you write it as one long story, like imagine like a movie, and it's like, you know what, we're just gonna cut the movie here. Like it doesn't always work.
And this is not working well. We actually have a problem with one of the other books too. And we'll get into that later. But it was a very interesting week. There is a couple firsts in here, so all your first collectors, make sure you grab a couple of them. And it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't bad. You can see there's good potential.
Yeah.
I think this is where Cavan kind of does some of his better work when he's allowed to use the tropes of like giant spiders and like, you know, that horror stuff that's not too scary, the classic horror stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of his wheelhouse.
How'd you guys like the art? I liked the art of the. I didn't. Is it Rachel? I almost thought it was Rachel Scott, like he was related to her, but I think it's Rachel Stott or something is the artist. Is that right?
What's that?
The artist for the book? I think it's like Rachel Stott or something.
Yeah, whoever it was is good. She did a good job. All right. Red Rick, we're just joking with Sam. So it's kind of funny. And Astro, it's not people in the South don't like McFarlane cover. It's only people that in the Southwest. Actually, only one state. It's Arizona.
Arizona.
All right, that's it. Okay. Hey, Shannon, good to see you. Thank you for being on last week. Appreciate it. Had a great time, and thank you for the hospitality. All right. Next up, we've got number 8. And I didn't even give all the covers because now there's 5 or 6 covers to this, but God, whatever. There was this is probably some of the best inside art. I really thought it was cool. You know, I also like that the Hutts now have got armor and rocket blasters, and then they can shoot like whips out of it too. Like that was kind of some of the coolest stuff here. And JJ, what is the name of that little character in the middle there? He's a Jedi, like a cat-looking Jedi. He was in that one video game with Cal in it, right? The same species was, correct?
Oh, yeah. God. Fallen Order is a game. I don't remember the name of the species.
Yeah, but either way, so they created one of those to be a Jedi. There's a lot of nameless Jedi. I think there's like 3 nameless Jedi that probably they got an appearance here. Maybe we'll see them later. Maybe we won't.
Marco, wasn't the Jedi slime guy?
He was. We'll get to that in a minute. Yep, slime guy. We'll get to him in a second. So here we go. We've got, finally, they've given us Comac Vidis, and he's right here down in the corner. This is where we get to see him for the first time. He's kind of a big deal. We did get to see a couple of other Jedi that we've seen before in other books, but up close and personal. We did get a little bit of Wreath. He had that flashback. Remember in 4, they had like a flashback to when they were on the planet thing and the Dangir first started, and there was 2 Jedi on there. And one of them, you kind of saw his face. That was him, supposedly. So you get a little bit more of him in here where you get to see his face.
Hey, is that Chris?
That is. That's
Mhm.
Chris, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very nice head. She should wear that all the time. I hope she never takes it off.
Somebody has an issue with Kylo Ren 3.
The holocron.
The holocron appearance.
Yeah.
The holocron appearance.
I had to throw that in. We can move on.
No, I appreciate it. I did kind of like it. Like they got her possessed. It was pacing. They also brought up that somehow the Dangir can control giant ants. I guess now too. I mean, why not if they can take over humans?
Plants,
whatever.
ants, it rhymes. Let them do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good. So we get a little bit more. We get a little more of a lot of Jedis here, which is okay. I think this book too, when we're talking about pacing, unfortunately, there you go. There's Slime Guy. Now, Slime Guy is a very interesting story here too, because Oberlin in the books and the books that Calvin Scott wrote, by the way, is at a battle. Like he's actually on Vol right now. Like as this is going on, he's on Vol, and they put him in this comic too, which Cavan writes. And I think, and I was going to talk about this, that's what you're bringing up, right, Jedi? Slime Guy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jedi slime guy.
Yeah. So I think they cut whatever the second arc of this comic was short because the Dangir weren't working out. And I think that's part of the reasoning. Like, because they said they're going to fix. He says like, oh yeah, but I have something down the road. I'm going to fix this somehow. But no, they definitely like seem like they rushed it out. The whole ant thing, how all of a sudden she's completely possessed. It didn't really make sense. They actually asked where. I mean, it was a mess of a book. The art was great, and it was cool to finish up that storyline. But like, even when it came down to the part of the huts and getting evacuated from the, like, they were on to annihilate the dang gear, and they're like, no, we're going to freeze them with this power. There's Wreath with whatever the sun power force field thing was.
It kind of came out of nowhere. It's like activating master.
Yeah,
I'm like, what is going on?
It seemed like
kind of see this coming, because wasn't it JJ a couple of weeks ago kind of saw this coming, like they're gonna Independence Day them, the master.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think like if you read this book, it seemed like there was pages missing from the book. Like
all you needed was Jeff Goldblum with the virus speech.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you give him a virus.
Right, but they didn't do that. All of a sudden, they just have the device somehow that's like force fields. It didn't make any sense. Chris being like, none of it made sense. I do like the whip, but it sucks that I got caught up. Anyway, so they now have them in a force field. They got the Mama Dangir in a force field because they don't want to kill beings, even though like it's the worst possible thing ever. They bring up how the Sith like tried to just put into stasis to control it, but they're just trying
all throughout the novels, right? I mean, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
All throughout the novels, you're seeing this all life is precious kind of.
A little bit. Some of the Jedi are like, no, we can't take it down, and we need to learn how to kill it. So I think there's going to be
you can tell Mace Windu wasn't a Jedi of the Order in this.
Well,
he's like, let's assassinate this guy like 200 years later.
Yeah, well, Aura like wants to cut him in pieces. Like she doesn't care. Like she's ready to go. And so are a couple other ones in the novels. Even Slime Guy completely annihilates some Nile. So like it's not. Yeah, I do find it funny that the plants are like
Lorna D.
What's that?
It was Lorna D that he battled.
Yeah, he almost lost on that one, but then came back. But yeah, but I find it funny they're willing to kill those the aliens or the beings at least. And when it comes to plant life, they're like, no, we're just gonna bubble capture the motherboard. Whatever. I'm glad it's over. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Is anybody disappointed with how this ended? Because I'm okay with it. So now, last page. By the way, they're going back to the festival that's taken over. This links up to the free comic book day too. It was weird. They were supposed to have the other thing. The solicitation for this book had said that they were going to have the adventures, the IDW book, cross over the kids that were with Yoda training the Padawans. They never showed up in this book. So I think, like I said, I think they did about face and was like, man, these are like if 4 started to slow down, 5 was kind of bad. 6
they were at the battle, right? Of however you say it, Sai.
Yeah,
the one where the Nihil destroyed the festival,
the fair.
Whatever.
They come in afterwards, but
because they were hoping Yoda would be there, but he wasn't.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think it seems like they about faced a lot of stuff in this book. So what do we got going on in the chat? Anything good?
Yeah, Steve.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying, Steve.
The Drengir, such great characters.
Yeah, no, I think it was such a fail. I mean, I think it was such a fail that they went sideways on it and got rid of it.
But I mean, there's a possibility they could come back. They didn't kill him. So they're just stasis. Denge Greer again.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope for the sake of us having to read it that they don't. Is anybody against that? Anybody really in love with that character? Because I think across the board.
No, but I think they invested so much in them, it makes sense that you just put them to the side.
Put them to the side.
Just put it to the side for a while. Let's see if we can do this right next time.
Because, I mean, the one thing that Jedi has been saying this week, too, and I guess a couple of guys, JJ, too, in our chats, is like, the D character, which we've been talking up for a very long time, that it looks like she's going to be it. Like, I think we're on the right path with that one, where she's going to be the main antagonist now. I think everybody's looking forward to that. So, good. Let's get away from this, because they're definitely going to the Nihil right now. It says at the end of the thing. All right, next free comic book day was the other one. It's something that I'd like to bring up. This Ram character. This is more towards children, I think. Was that everybody's agreement on this?
Oh yeah, it's written by I can never pronounce the name correctly. But Daniel Jose Older.
Daniel Jose Older, yeah.
Who writes the children's books of the High Republic. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I thought this was even more childish than Adventures. This was like really geared towards kids.
Definitely.
Look at that, man. Like Zine now has got double guns. She's blazing out there. That's pretty cool. I don't know why they have a Gronk droid, but whatever.
Got to charge the cell phone battery.
Right. The dragon was kind of cool, and that they had ties in this book too. Like they just had a lot of crossovers with stuff. They show how Ram can like form stuff and go up there. A little bit back and forth. Very short story. It wasn't a ton of stuff, and it was kind of in a part that we've already seen before. In the tower, in the little novel by Erlin, where the race to the top of the tower. This is just like kind of the comic reiteration of it. The one thing that I brought up and thought was kind of cool was like, did you guys see how many of you actually got to pick these up at your local comic book shop? Did everybody? Nobody? Yeah, Jedi was short.
Not me, unfortunately.
These books, the quality of these books were way better. It makes no sense. The free comic books, the quality of them, they're 10 cents to a retailer. Like these things cost 10 cents a piece. The regular book costs $1.68. The weeklies, the monthlies, whatever. This book is more quality than the IDW book or the Marvel book. Like definitely better than the Marvel books they put out each freaking week. And that the MAGA, that book was like blew out of water any quality that Marvel's put out in the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like almost Bronze Age type quality. Maybe a little bit before that. Maybe even a little bit silver.
Like they had absorbed or held the print better, like the ink on it. I mean, clearly a much nicer paper.
Yeah,
much nicer.
I mean, I don't know what they're doing over there, but if you can do it, if you can make it for that much, Magoo, is that what it is? That's what I'm gonna call it now. Leftover Magoo. Okay, fair enough.
Are the free comic book? They're usually less pages, right? They're shorter. Are they like 30?
No,
some are
they're like samplers.
Yeah, I guess. But this had this half of the story, right? They had this half, and the second half of this book was IDW's Adventures #1. Half of that story, plus 3 ads. So no, it was pretty much the same.
Yeah, it's usually the same amount of pages, but they usually put in like 2 stories, or like you don't get a full story necessarily.
And there wasn't a huge difference because I did test it to the IDW. I know that people are going to cringe at this, but I did the paper test, where you feel the paper out and do that type of stuff between this and regular book. And it is a little bit, the gloss on this was a little glossier, and the actual paper was a tad bit thicker than we'd find in the IDW book. I just found it fascinating that like that's what they were doing. They're giving a better quality for the 10 cents book, the free book that everybody calls it free. It's obviously not
people
free.
in,
Gotta make good first impression.
Yeah, you don't put out garbage to lure people in. Come pay for these. We're gonna give you garbage, so come pay for them now.
The factory ran out of bad newsprint paper to just slather it on there with, so they're like, bust out the good stuff,
Yeah, we only got full backs.
Treat them right.
We don't have anything less anymore.
I mean, how are they? But the Marvel Rub, you get Marvel Rub everywhere free. And I didn't even think about this, but go and look at like Darth Vader 3. I found a stack those the other day, and I was looking at them, and those things have been tossed around for how many years now? 6-7 years. Yeah. Not a bit of rub on it, not ticks everywhere, not even a scratch. And I was like, man, the quality on this is actually better than the quality of either way. Stick Boy, good to see you. I hear you're doing great things over on Whatnot. Make sure you're checking him out over there. Finally, we've got what's coming up next week. What is coming up next week? Oh, this is why I put this here. So we've got Star Wars Adventures. I only gave you the B cover for this. Try to get it. And we know that the Star Wars Adventure book has been hit or miss if you're going to get B covers, or if they're actually even going to show up on time those weeks. Hopefully they're back to schedule. The second story, like they finally have gotten rid of the, did I give it? I didn't. Dang, that stinks. Mace Windu is not it. No, that's the preview. They're going to do one more Luke and Leia story, which sucks, the front half, but the back half is going to be Dooku, and he's going to have a special clone. The lost clone, which they had in the last book, is also on his barge when they find it. So maybe that's going to have a link there and give us more of a storyline. So I'll definitely be picking up the B. Make sure you go out there and try. If not, go over and look at our guy, Daggett's Comics. He's going to have a couple of these. If you can't find it at your local comic book store, make sure you hit him up. He'll do pretty good for you. Adventures is coming out. We're going to get a little bit of more Matthew McConaughey shirtless in that. So that'll be cool. And hopefully we're going to get to the end and we'll have answer the question that me and JJ have been throwing around for the last little bit is that a Darth Crate mask or is it a not? And hopefully they'll get to the end of that because we're going to have a little bit more on that character
The
I
Rebels
see we
Under
get
the
the
Stairs.
Dream Gear back in that book now, though.
I know that
Awesome.
sucks. Yeah. What?
Get rid of it in one book and get it back.
Well,
in
no.
the
Do you see? There's the same cover. The RI's got Drain Gear on it, but like it's
Mm.
nil on the
Yeah.
front. You know, so hopefully.
Was that nil or was that because they get captured by the weird Hutt clan or whatever it was?
Well,
Oh
this
yeah. No, it
one's
is the Hutt
running-
clan. You're
I
right.
think
They're
it's the
fighting the
Hutt
Hutt
clan.
clan. Yeah, because they're looking for these two guys. So I mean, they're.
So is this running kind of parallel? Because I mean,
It's
are we gonna
supposed to
have a
be.
scene where like the Drain Gear are closing in and they're
Mhm.
gonna kill them, and then they just all drop dead because
Yeah, it's actually supposed to be a little bit
Several
ahead of it,
planets.
and that's why I think they shortened the main title, because these guys are actually supposed to be creating the peace and negotiating the peace with the Hutts to fight with, you know, Chris and all. Well, to help get Chris out of there because she's
A
possessed.
little
by
bit behind it. You mean not ahead of it?
Behind it, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
behind it. Yeah, yeah. Thank
They're
you.
really packed tight in that little spot there too. Like I don't know how they got all their heads that close together. all
It's the
lifted up.
smuggling. It's like,
Like you
the. Well,
It's like the little things in the Millennium
yeah,
Falcon.
Millennium Falcon. It's a smuggling
coming
thing.
up out of the
No,
floor.
I get that. What I'm saying is, look, their heads are cheek to cheek, like how their bodies fit, like when they're
You
together.
can't be real comfortable with that spiky head, dude.
Exactly.
Well, it's like
It's like,
bone.
it's like cuddling a
technically bone.
cactus.
And how'd
Yeah.
you get Geode in there?
Yeah. How did you?
You're sitting on
Is
him.
Geode
He's the
back
bench.
there? He is. He's back there. Is he back there? I don't know.
I don't
Who
know.
knows? Yeah, he must be. All right. So now we've over articulated a cover. If that's the thing in Star Wars that doesn't make sense, we're in short order. Speaking of things that don't make sense, Star Wars: The Main Title is coming out next week. So I think this is finally the week that I only get the variant cover. I'm not buying more than one copy of this, and I'm not buying anything besides the wanted cover. Because to be honest with you, this series sucks.
The A's not awful. It's just kind of
Yeah, but this not even that. Not even that. The series sucks. It sucks. It's probably one of the worst series. That and Afra. But we also get War on Bounty Hunters coming out. There's going to be a wanted for that, and we're going to get another Bounty Hunter cover, another Bounty Hunter toy cover. So
Action figure variant.
action figure variant.
yeah, can't go wrong with Dengar.
And we get the connecting number 3. So make sure those are getting harder. That's another good thing about Daggett's comments. So you can go for that. That's going to be, those are getting harder. So if you've already missed out, what was Bubba? Did they do Bubba? Which was the first one they did already?
Boba.
Who was Bubba?
Boba was first.
No, it was
Boss
Dengar.
second.
Yeah.
Or no, Dengar was second.
right.
Dinger. Yeah. So Dinger. Yeah. So you get, now you
Wait
get
a minute.
IG-88.
The Alpha had one too, didn't it? Or no? I
No,
don't
it's
remember.
all for War of Bounty Hunters. So it's all, so going to be all 6 or whatever the connectors. And then they've got, the Afra story in War of Bounty Hunters, they don't need an Afra book, and they actually don't need a Star Wars book, because those books are just a duplication of what's going on in War of Bounty Hunter at this point. So save some money, save some time, just buy War of Bounty Hunters. FOC, this is where it moves on to something good. We finally go away from the Luke and Leia storyline, and we get
With
the
another
purple
foot
music.
cover.
This is the foot cover, yes.
That's another one.
Yep,
Oh yeah,
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Yep. Bigfoot Boba taking off. We'll see
Nice
what's
Mace
about.
Windu cover though.
That's technically the first time. Yeah, that's the A cover, believe it or not.
Is that a Francavilla? Is that Mace Windu?
The purple might be.
Might
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
Looks like this.
I don't see his signature, but it's
I don't
probably
see it
buried
either.
in there.
It was probably buried someplace. This was also off the FOC portion, so who knows? We're gonna have a little Mace action. This actually is probably a book you should pick up. Out of all the adventures that we've talked about before, this is one that you should probably be circling. This is the first time that Boba Fett's going to hit the IDW Adventure Line 2. As far as this storyline, we do know he was on the cover of the first ever Star Wars Adventures for IDW, but we're also getting a good Mace Windu storyline. Supposedly that's what they're promising us. FOC also continued. I guess the sales for Dr. Afra didn't do so good, so they opened it up for another week. So if you didn't get the design for the Houndtooth, Bloodtooth, which what is it again? Houndstooth.
Eagle 5.
Eagle 5 or Houndstooth, you could get that, but they also have a Bubba semi.
Yeah, it's
Sketch, I guess.
Starship.
Yeah, Bubba Starship now. What is it? Hey, Jedi Johnson, what's the name of the ship again?
I don't know. I read something that they're just going to call it fire spray or something after the class.
All right, so
Spray,
Slave
something.
1, you could get the
Afternoon
blueprint for Slave 1 if you want the blueprint for Slave 1. Also, 4 out of 5, you can get the connecting cover, and we get Bosk, which I actually think is a sweet connecting cover. Remember, that's the bridge that they're doing there. Houndstooth, thank you very much, Dusty Baker. There you go. Good to have you back too, my friend. But there you go. That's what we got on FOC. Oh, no, we do. One more. The second print. They didn't show us the cover. So we'll watch the IG this week. When they come out with the cover for the second print, we'll put it up there so you can see what's on the Jabba Hutt. Number 1, second print.
I wonder what will be the cover.
It's probably an inside panel.
Yeah, it's got to be an interior panel.
It's going to be an interior panel. Why would they give us anything good?
Lollipop.
If you guys stop buying crap, they won't keep giving us crap. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, maybe they'll make a 1 in 25 second print incentive.
Oh, Jesus.
If it's got lollipop,
Thankfully, they haven't done that for Star Wars yet.
Not yet. They haven't. Thanks for
There's
giving me an
always a
idea,
first time
Pete.
for everything.
Yeah. Okay. So that is it for comic reviews. Sam, thank you for helping us out with Japanese comics, too. I do appreciate it.
My pleasure. You guys have
All
a
right,
great
one
night.
more time. What are they called, Marco?
Japanese comics. Make sure you check it out, Sam, every Saturday on Tales from the Flipside on MCM with Kyle, Comic Book Jesus, and Ish. And then sometimes some of us just stop by. I don't think I'll be there this week, but maybe next week. Thanks again, Sam. Really do appreciate
Thanks, guys.
it.
Have a good night.
Good to see you, Sam.
Good to see you.
Liefeld drew Boba Fett's feet. Thank
I
you.
saw that
Yeah.
earlier.
I know, dude. Yeah. That's not a good one. It really is not good at all. But what are you going to do? Actually, that A cover is probably the winner, right? Everybody agree on that? The A
Yeah,
cover?
the Mace one?
Yeah, that's
I
going
like
to
the
be
Mace
cool.
one. It does look like a Francavilla, but couldn't tell.
It does look like a Frank Avila.
Doing pickups now?
Yeah, we were going to do pickups. I forgot to do pickups, so.
No,
Thank
we
you
had to do that first because Sam had to go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we had to do. Thank you for not reminding me. Okay, Jedi Johnson, pickups. We're going to leave Solo Wookiee to the end because he's got specific instructions. He might get kicked after this. We'll see. I don't think
Yes.
he'll follow the rules.
Challenge accepted.
Okay, well, I mean, a couple things. I mean, I actually meant to show these last week, but yeah, I've been kind of all over the place with comics, figures, of course, pops a little bit, but so I did pick this up, the Afra.
Oh, nice.
Half,
Ooh.
and kind of with the Star Wars women theme. I got the
Nice.
Oh, nice. I like that figure.
Officially, by the way, just in case anybody follows rumors, she's not coming back. 100%, like we said, she's not coming back.
She's making
Sucks.
the new Hitcher movie. No, I don't want to start that. Okay. And then I picked up, I actually got this on Whatnot, believe it or not.
Nice.
So, Leia 3.5 from Empire Strikes Back.
Best Ben.
That's all I got.
Yeah, it sucks that we aren't going to have her as a character anymore. I will agree with that. Next up is what I have. I think everybody's in agreement with that. Yes, we all agree that it sucks that we're not having a character.
Yeah.
Okay. I liked her character. I mean, she couldn't act worth a shit, but like her action scenes were great. All right. So I got the thing. Speaking of things that Jedi Johnson hate, here we go. Got 2 of these. I got more, but I left them for
You got
somebody
the-
else.
You got the Play-Doh Boba Fett. Okay.
I was always mad. Like, I remember going to Celebration and seeing the Darth Vader when they did the prototype Darth Vader and going like, I think I like it, but I can't decide. And then it came out and I was like, I think I like it, but I don't think anybody else is going to like it. So it's going to go on clearance. And it never went on clearance. So when luckily I was in a Target getting stuff to go on vacation, extra water shoes or whatever. And I go, you know what? I'm going to go back because I looked through it. There wasn't anything there. And then the guy had opened the box and all 6 of them were there. And there wasn't a limit, but you know me.
I was gonna ask, is there 6 variations? Or
Yeah,
4?
6 variations. I think it's 6 because I think it was 6 or maybe it's 4 and then they have 2 extra ones. I can't remember now. That's been like 3 weeks, but whatever it was, they were all there. And I was going to call everybody and go like, what do you want? But I was like, man, I really don't want to be the jerk that wipes it. You can't sit there and preach, not be a jerk and then go be a jerk. You know what I mean? Like, can't do it. So
I mean, I'm no mathematician, but in theory, wouldn't there be like hundreds or if not like the variations? Like if you do 6 different pieces, you swap colors.
the heads, I think it's the heads. I think there were 6 different heads.
But what about the bodies? Like the bodies?
Yeah,
they
the body
switched
color
arms and
changed.
legs.
Yeah, they do. But what I think
So they're only counting the heads. When they're talking about the
yeah. So
variants.
yeah. I think like each there's 6 variant heads, and with those heads, each head has the exact like. See how this has got an orange head? Everyone with an orange head has 2 blue arms. Everyone with a blue head has got an orange and yellow arm. There's no orange head with a
green arm and a
green
red
arm. No. Yeah, it's the head type thing, or maybe it's the body. I can't remember what it was. Whatever it is, but I do know it's only 6 in a box, which sucks too. So they got wiped out pretty quickly because I sent somebody to that store, and within 10 minutes, somebody did go and grab the other 4. I assume it's probably one person that didn't follow the rule. Dude, Stick Boy, they were so quick to go. It was ridiculous. It just was by sheer luck that I had done it. Next up, something I've been holding off for a while, and I keep forgetting. And then my son reminded me, "Hey, are you going to do that on the show? Because I think he wants me to. I'll show you.
I want you to open it.
Yeah. So it's the Star Wars, the Sasquatch soap. Pete, I think you have this too.
Yep.
I
tried one.
Did you? Does it stink?
It's okay. The Obi-Wan. I think I tried the Obi-Wan. It just after a while, I'm just like.
It's if you got teenage boys that like to use the spray stuff. What's this stuff called?
Axe.
Axe or whatever.
Yeah. The Sith ones are kind of potent. Like they're kind of.
This has got a little bit of Axe to it. The box is dope as hell though. But definitely it's got a little.
The mall, you smell them. You're like, ooh, yeah, that's a.
Yeah, that's really gonna bring the women to the yard. That's not good. So I'll give that to the boy and let him destroy those. And then
I wonder if they fade down a little bit after you start to use it. Like maybe it's not quite so potent.
No.
Dwayne Scott, always good to see you. Because he's going to say it, I'm going to give it the sniff test. Let's see if it smells like Dagobox Swamp.
See, but you're lucky. You got the gift box. I ordered them before they offered the gift box.
Smells like Dagobox Swamp. It does. Oh really? My
the
God.
The other I thought was more pleasant smelling. Minty.
Lotus leaf.
Like an Irish Spring.
Lotus leaf and 0 dirt, 0 grit. Yeah, maybe it. No.
If you don't like the Yoda one, you're not gonna like the rest.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Give them all. Go ahead, give them all away.
I'm okay, bro. Give me a second. So then, also, I was with Shannon Fisher. I was up at a Myers, and I was going through the section, and I decided to get something at a Meijer, and I actually should have I didn't know till I left the Meijer, and the internet was not great there. And then you guys were like, you should have bought more than what you did, which was 1. You should have bought all of them. But they were $10 a piece. And at the Meijer, they were the Walmart packs.
Open it.
That's a thing? Aren't people paying like money? Okay, what am I looking for?
I don't care what you do.
I don't care what I do with it. I'll let the chat go. Soul Wookie's got some stuff. Chat, if you want me to open this.
Yeah, open it.
Open it. Open it.
I've never seen a chat say no, don't open it.
Yeah. No, don't open it.
All right, here we go.
We're give it to them. Then they'll say, no, don't open it. I don't want to know what's inside.
Punching? What is an alien on YouTube?
Aliens.
I don't. Alien tuna fish? Here we go.
Alien tuna? What are you talking about?
The alien guy.
What?
On YouTube?
I don't know why they're in Myers, but check your Myers because like they used to have those $5 pack. I thought it was gonna be $5 because they put it in the $5 pack area for all the people that are in the Midwest and have Myers, where they have cards and stuff like that. They have those $5 packs. Which, by the way, I hit a $5 pack up there too. I went there at the beginning of the week. They had a $5 pack which had that second True Love, the second print of that, and like an Iron Man fourth print in or whatever that was. So that was cool. So I got that for $5. Somebody had already opened the pack to look what was in it, and apparently they didn't want those 2 books. And I was like, well, you're an idiot. So then I went back and said like, oh, maybe they restocked them because it was later on in the week, and they didn't restock them. They restocked them, but they restocked them with Walmart packs. So, all right. So we've got the High Republic.
Isn't there supposed to be some really dope books behind the High Republic one? If you see them with the High Republic on there,
I mean, does anybody care about the second print? The Spider-Man?
Well, isn't that the ratio or something, or is it just the second print? It was like second print 1 in 25, or
yeah, it might be. And then there's a Cosmic Ghost Rider in there too, and that's a 111. That's a 5571, 55 7. Okay, that might be the ratio.
I think it's a ratio.
It is a ratio because it's 7-1.
Yeah, because
and
there's
then-
supposedly 1 in 1,000s in packs now.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we talked about that on MCM a little bit. Jesse came on and he was right. Like, they do those buyouts and stuff, and obviously these pack guys buy it too because you have to. They can't charge ratio when they sell the ratios out. They can't charge ratio, so it's $1.68. You're buying a freaking 1 in 1,000 for $1.68. I mean, that's how we get them in those dollar bin boxes, anyways. Mm-hmm. You're talking about the last con. So the ASM is a 1 in 50 or 1 in 100.
There's a buy it now listed.
Thank you, Nate.
$50 of that book right now.
Nate, where you're buying me right or you're not? Because if you're on the other side of the state, on the west side of the state, that's where I found them in the Myers, bro. So just so you know. Either way, that's good. So that's what I have, and then we have Solo Wookie. Solo Wookie's got a ton of stuff, so we might have to split it into 2 weeks. We're going to try to keep it. I think he's going to do 5 things here, right, Solo? Yes. Solo, yes.
Yeah.
5. Okay. Here we go. So let's see.
50.
No, 5.
As
these internet's breaking up.
First off,
this is internet.
Yeah, is it choppy? Sorry.
Okay, go ahead. No, we're good.
Can you guys still?
Okay. We're good.
I did score one of these for cover real quick. Can you help explain to me a little bit, Marco, on this one? I'm not real familiar with this run.
The Knights Errant. Yeah, so yeah, Knights Errant. So that was, they tried to do a reimagination. There, I can't remember the girl that was in charge of it. It was trying to bring the Dark Horse stuff, even though it was a little bit gory, to a younger audience. It's probably like you always see the library books and stuff like that, the trade paperbacks. Probably one of my least favorite Dark Horse comics, Star Wars comics, by far. Not even close. Actually,
Makes
not
sense.
close at all. So,
I did do some bidding, and I missed out on 3 and 4, but I did win number 5, signed by Ray Park.
Nice. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I was able to score that bad boy in a 9-8.
Just maybe back away from the camera and tilt it a little bit. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, fair enough. Go ahead. Next up.
Yeah.
They don't need to see your face, is what I'm saying. You can show the book.
But they like them. They like the Wookiee. They did it for the Wookiee.
I know, but like if you put the, never mind.
And then this one, I always like this cover. I love this cover.
Yeah, that's cool.
I found it for an amazing, great price on the eBays, and so it was a buy it now, and I did, and it was super cheap, super affordable, super awesome, and thanks for that, man. Super stoked to find that one.
That was one that I think quote unquote speculators had bought a ton in the FOC, and you'll see a lot. You got a great deal on it though. Anytime you could get a book for just a little bit of, I mean, what it cost, you paid. We know how much you paid for it, so. For grading
fees, like if you factor out grading
fees, you paid like honestly, you paid $10 over, and not even because it's shipping, but you paid like $5. I mean, you paid $5. You paid $5 over what it costs to get it shipped and graded, and not know if you have a 9.8 or not. I mean,
I got a guaranteed 9.8 for like $2 extra. Is pretty much how that worked out. So I mean, I'm in that all day long. Some of you do know, some of you don't. I was able to go see our good friend and spend all day yesterday with him, Tony Fleece. He did some Star Wars Adventure stuff. He is also one of the co-creators of Stray Dogs, and he signed a ton of books and did this for me.
That's awesome.
That's cool. That is cool. No, back. Oh my God. Okay.
Can you see it? Could you read it? There's a reason that it was up there.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not
a dog.
Yeah, there you go. Now we can see it. There you go. Okay, excellent.
No, but he was trying to show the message. I'm not.
Yeah, I know. Now I see it.
And people asked him all day long, will you do a remark? Will you do a remark? And he just really, he's like, look, I'm not good at it. You're going to be disappointed if I do it. You should have one of these other people that helped, create and do work on the book, have them do it. So at the end of the day, because I literally got to hang out with love Tony, man, one of the greatest guys ever. And at the end of the day, when he went to sign, I got some posters and stuff signed and some books. And I had him do those. I said, hey, will you do me a favor and will you write a remark? I know you don't like to do them, but I don't want a remark like everyone else wants a remark. I want a smart butt comment remark. Like I want, put a look both ways before you cross the street, and that'll be my remark. So I got a I'm not a dog. Here's your Wookiee.
Nice.
Yeah, great guy, man. I can't emphasize enough how awesome Tony
There
is.
you go. All right, you got one more? Or was that 5? That wasn't 5.
No, that'll do it.
All right,
That's it.
cool. Thank you, Solo. Something about you may order one for every 50 copies. So it's
I think that's your Spidey.
Yeah, the Spidey. Cool. Are you at Central, Nate? If you can get out to Ludington, they're over at there. But check out any of those. So whoever's distributing on the west side of the state is putting Walmart packs in the Myers. Just heads up and tip. Hopefully you come across some of them. Fair enough. Steve, do you know if the Spidey thing's worth anything? Because we can give it away on MCM then. Hey, Kyle.
$40 asks. I was looking it up while you were
$40 ask. Cool. All right. So not worth anything. All right. Next up, what do we have next up? Good stuff, by the way. Good steals there, Solo. It's good stuff.
And JJ will be right back.
JJ will be right back. Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect, because I think we're going to need JJ. No, we have a segment because we didn't do pre-show well at all. Good job, guys. Thanks a lot for that. Funko it is. Jedi, are you ready to get into some Funko?
Yeah, that's it.
I can't believe we're doing more and more Funko Pop stuff, but whatever.
You guys are begging me to do it.
The people love the Funko. No, that's not a thing.
Okay, so
I don't remember that one.
You
No.
don't remember it? Yeah, you're the one that made a comment about it. So about 3 weeks ago, I did the.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh,
This is what happens when you don't have.
I didn't
Hey,
spell check.
I sent this to you guys like a week ago.
I-
and
I
2
didn't
weeks
have
ago.
time
2
this
weeks
past
ago.
week.
That's Pete. Pete, that's on you.
That's
All
what
right.
I'm saying. This is what happens when I don't have time to do my thing.
All right.
I
There
got
we
East
go.
Texas education, so
I don't remember this either, but I don't think I was on the show. So there we go.
okay. So wait a minute, don't go.
No,
back.
don't go. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, so we got tied up with my spelling error. So about 3 weeks ago, brought these up. I went over the large font blue box first release, kind of really the Star Wars and Funko Pops. Pete made the comment, if you remember, that one of these is not like the other, and it was, of course, the Greedo is currently even more PPG than that right now. We'll go through and go to the next slide.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Solo Wookie, did you get flicked in the ear?
No, I didn't. I am
that's
honestly
fair.
rarely in bars since I quit drinking 11 years ago. So, but
There you
I
go.
would have loved to have been there for that.
All right. Jedi, go ahead.
So he's
No
flicking
idea
some
what
other
just
guy.
Okay. So after that, the guys were so into Funkos after that they just wouldn't leave me alone about it.
Not true.
And
Not true. This is not what happened. This is not anything that can we
So-
tell you the truth or no? This is what we're gonna do? Okay, go ahead, finish and then
I
we'll tell
was
the truth.
curious about the rise of Greedo.
So I was tracking this one. I saw this one pop up on eBay
On a
for an
second by
auction.
second basis.
And I was sending the guys daily updates. Come on,
Hourly
daily updates of how this thing was going because people love Funkos if they're into Funkos and they're willing to spend money on Funkos. So the first day, I don't even know what day it was really, but the first day I noticed it is about 360. And then Tuesday I checked again and it had already gone up to like 700 or the next, I think it was Tuesday, 760. And then by Wednesday, it's like 1,136. And the final bid on it that I sent the guys, and they were like, "No way, that's awesome, $1,600." So I circled it because I want you to look at that original price tag. This is, obviously this is common with comics too. Somebody paid $10 for this thing way back.
Is
when or
this
whatever.
the Greedo shot first variant?
Yeah.
No, that doesn't exist. That never happened.
Yeah. What's his name? Wiped it off.
But
What's the story on
brings
this?
up a good point.
Go ahead. He brought really? Go ahead.
No, well, the story is it's just one of the highest Funkos out there because it was vaulted. I'm sure it's because of production. The production run was not high. They did re-release it in a different box, a black box or whatever. But this one's very rare, with the exception of probably the ones that were released only at cons. I think this one's probably the most expensive. I think so.
Where do they sell this? It was just a regular selling. Is this what you're saying?
This is just a regular one. This was not a con exclusive or anything.
Early
this
run.
was early release. And I think there's one right now. So the RPG, I keep saying RPG. The PPG on this now has jumped from 1160 up to 1480 since we did this one. And there's only one that I saw last time I looked on eBay now, and they're asking 1800. This thing, when I saw this one at that the shop that I was telling you guys I go to from time to time, it was still at 1160. So I went back there this week. I was like, wow, I wonder if this thing is still 1160. Would it be worth like maybe buying it? You know, it'd be a big spin, but still. Now that guy was on top of his game. It's already 1480 on there. So I was like, no thanks. So yeah, just check. Was he?
Well, I'm just saying. Think of it.
You saying he should be asking more?
For like $1,200. Nobody bought it. So now at a time when somebody might come in and buy it for $1,200, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna ask 15 and still not sell it.
I mean, you say now's the time.
Taking $1,200 and been happy.
Yeah.
I think this might be consignment that he's doing.
Even
maybe.
the person consignment.
Sure.
Like, how long do you sit?
No, you're making a great.
That's
point.
what happened. The person saw it on eBay, called him up, and was like, pushed it up.
That shop owner knows who JJ is, and he's watching the show, and he's like watching the Funko up there. I mean, Jedi literally just.
I said last week I got
right out of the Funko.
Yeah, but it wasn't on the show. It was literally on the chat, and it was like every hour. This guy said, "This Jedi's broke the Matrix. The Matrix is this. Can we do another pop segment, please?" No. Okay. A day later, how much do you guys think this is going to sell for? I don't know, dude. But what did it sell for last time?
But when he first said it on the show, the store owner started watching, and then now he's just started watching, because he got alerted to it, and Jedi just priced himself right out of a sweet Greedo.
I don't know, man.
Right.
I don't know. That's kind of crazy though that something like that goes for it. But good, keep us posted. Give us a thumbs up if you guys like this stuff. Give us a thumbs up there underneath, because Jedi believes. I think Jedi's just here for the intros, but he honestly believes that people love the Funko Pop Talk. So if I can stop doing Funko Pop Talk, I'll be happy. But if I can't, then we're going to have more segments from Jedi. So give us a thumbs up.
What will I do if that happens?
Well, you still do intros. I don't know.
We'll do dad jokes.
Hey, I had more slides, man. Are you not gonna let me do other slides? Yeah.
I might not have had your other slides, bro. Let me see what I can do. Let me see what I can.
It's in the slide.
It's the same thing. There's more pages.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
We got lost on that. I thought the whole end of the story was we got.
Well, no, because so after I did.
Oh yeah, this is good. Okay, you ready? Tell me when.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, there you go. Is that good?
So after the show, I was just doing some messing around on the net, and I found a site that had some of they were selling those pops, and in the picture it was the large font pop of a couple of figures. So, and they were asking like $10 for them, and I'm like, okay, no way. But let's do a little experiment just for the sake of our viewers that love pops. And I ordered them. And
stock photos.
So,
yeah, you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
All right.
So the picture on your left there is what I ordered, smiley face. The picture on the right, the picture on the right is what I got, which is the black box reissue of Boba Fett.
Tell me you sent these back.
I did. And next
is
slide.
It the same number?
Same number, yeah.
Yeah, same number, but the big. Remember, if we remember Jedi's.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah, the big print in the blue versus the black and the red.
So this is just a cautionary tale. Just be careful what you order, and know that if it's too good to be true, it
could have made 4 interest-free payments for $2.50 a piece.
I know, right? So same thing with the Yoda. So I did contact them and say, hey, this is not right. You're false advertising, bait and switch. And they were like, oh, you're right. We didn't notice that. Yeah, okay. And they refunded my money. So
and my pops.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're all having to laugh at you. So this guy's complaining about the color of the box. It's still bold.
Believe it or not, though, they let me keep the pops.
Of course they did.
Yeah, they said just keep the pops and we'll refund your money. And I was like,
because then they would have had to pay. You would have had to pay shipping for it to return.
Exactly. They said the shipping is going to be more than
kill me on the shipping. Yeah. Well, nice. There you go. Good job. So you got free stuff. That's what I like to hear. That's a good job. All right.
Stay tuned for more pops.
Good. We're probably gonna.
Gotta have my pops.
All right. Good stuff, Jedi. That was really good. I did appreciate it. I like how you added I forgot about it, but I do like how you added what I ordered and what I got. It's a great story, and I'm glad that you got to keep them. So, as you should. If you try to bait switch like that, I don't think it was as innocent as you made it to be. I think they purposely did that. So, all right. Up next, we have got, JJ's still gone. Cool. You should see the disc. What is this? The disc Funko Pop page. People love this stuff. We travel to Funko shops across the state to get pops. More dad jokes, less Funkos. Nope. Okay, we're keeping Funkos. There you go. We just won. Hey, that's the way to see. Dusty, no, it must run in the family because Dusty knows how to keep the pop section going. All right, we're gonna go into Bad Batch because then after that we can do It's a Trap. We've got some weird stuff. We're gonna be talking about a little bit of cloning and a little bit of a Luke hand, I think.
Cool hand
Luke. We got 2 traps, man. What are we doing here? Okay. All right. Bad Batch. The darkest episode we've ever had before of Bad Batch as far as... That is one thing I'll say I'm disappointed with these last couple is like, come on, man. Like, I don't want to have to change my TV settings because you're just making it too dark. You know what I mean? So we start off with Lost Kamino and the blowing up of Kamino. It's full-fledged. Oh, man, we're all trapped. But are we trapped? We're kind of trapped. Omega's okay, though, and she's seeing who is and who isn't trapped. Her droid got knocked out, which was interesting. And we got douchebag here, still sitting on his bridge, saying this is great. He's not even a bad guy. He's just punchable. So punchable.
I assume you're talking Crosshair?
No, right here.
Talking about Rampart.
Yeah.
Oh.
Crosshair is a good character. Rampart.
I'm just going to interrupt real quick. Am I the only one not seeing the slide?
No, I can't see it either.
Awesome.
Oh, I didn't know you were showing the slides. I thought we were just still doing a general.
Oh, no. I was going through the slides. Thank you for reminding me we can't see the slides. Hold on. Let's see what we can do here. We're rewinding it.
Being dark, it made sense though. I mean, they're on a station that.
No, I know, but it was really dark. I mean, you got to do something.
Otherwise, it would be. What are all these lights?
Pete, why are you responding to the clips like you're actually seeing it while Jedi?
I just know what you're talking about.
He saw the clips. I haven't gone through. I haven't seen any
painting a
of
picture
them.
in my mind. And
Jedi. I was driving the last 5.5 hours.
The best is I'm talking about Rampart. Pete knows exactly who I'm talking about. Make sure you guys check the Wednesday show. That's why the totally awesome coolest show ever.
I watched the episode.
Yeah, and everybody else is going like, "What are you talking about, dude?" Jedi, you get another Pops one for that one. You get another Pops segment. All right, Bad Batch, here's the review. Kamino lost. Kamino's blowing up. Oh my gosh, everybody's knocked out and some people are trapped. Oh, hey, Crosshair's right next to her too. That's kind of interesting. There we go. Who's alive? Who's dead? They're all alive, and the robot somehow got knocked unconscious. Punchable is right here. I still want to punch him. Behind, JJ put the slide in because he said that this clone looks very sad that they're blowing up the clone thing. I didn't take that out, but like if you're pausing and framing that type of stuff, JJ.
I think it was more his voice.
Oh, you thought it sounded.
I think you got it. I kind of got that too. Like,
okay.
He was reporting like, all right, you just burnt my house down, man.
This was they knocked out the droid, but they didn't really knock it. It was the reserve there, I think, got hit. She tries to pick up to save Crosshair because she's just got a great heart. Jedi, we are going to get a recap from what your wife thought, correct, on this episode?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So they get to use I like this. I like that they get to use the Vero blade. I thought that's really cool. I actually hope they bring this into a toy. I thought it was cool coloring on it. To open the door, he's just going to use his muscles because they're drowning in the water. She ends up saving Crosshair's lives. Then they have to start running through the tunnels, which is funny because there's a lot of tunnel running in like Clone Wars and stuff like that too, and in the comics, which was kind of cool. The monster starts to try to attack. What part is this? I forgot what part that is.
That was when they're in the tube to get out.
This is still in the tube to try. Oh yeah, tube to try to get out.
Well,
The monster.
that's one of several times where they just stopped to chit chat.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. They were chit chatting a lot.
Run.
The lights. By the way, why did they shut off their lights? Because I thought that was attracting the monsters. They have the moment here where he's like torn. Like, am I making the right decision? They're kind of saving me. They got a point. Is the Empire is trying to blow me up? They didn't really care about me, but he didn't turn. They end up getting out of the tunnels, shocking the monster, and going back to their old barracks where they started counting. Just conveniently, their old barracks is the only place they could go. They see all the things. I actually really like this. I liked, the gapping, but there's a part here that I like that we're going to get to in a minute. I thought it was kind of cool how they sealed it together to get underneath. This part right here. Wrecker's usually just watching after her or playing Big Brother, but the moment, he just had enough. And you kind of would feel that way, right? Like, this guy's been talking crap all the time, and he goes, no, dude, it's on you. It's you, it's you. You're the problem. You're absolutely the problem. And you get Tech going back to go, it was a big pivotal, if you come from a big family, that's how a family fight usually goes. Usually there's the one guy sitting there quiet for a minute and then just had enough. And that's kind of how I felt with that. It was kind of cool.
I also did like what Tech said, though. I like that. It's like, just because I understand you doesn't mean I agree with you.
Yeah. So Tech tells him he's wasting his time pretty much or whatever, tells him why. And Crosshair goes, well, I never expected.
Wrecker also said, we would have taken you back.
Yeah.
At any point, too. So, he's.
Yeah.
That was a good scene. Yeah,
that was it. He was saying, you can keep saying we left you, but to be honest with you, no, you decide to choose that side. You left the group. We're the group. You're not, whatever. So, and then Tech explains to him why I should leave him alone. Crosshair goes I never expected you to defend me. And then he says one of the best lines, just because I understand you doesn't mean I'm defending you. And that was kind of cool, man. He dropped the mic on that. So there we go. Monster being. We have to use the key thing to get through the door. Oh, there's the animal. Yeah, because they were stopping and pausing there for 8 years to try to get through that tube. Then the power came back and shocked them. Also ran the power out on the droid. Now they have to figure out what to do. They've got this is so dark. They've got the tubes. So they're going to do, what do you call it? Bioshock, which was kind of cool. It's a reference to a game. Did I just hear his laugh?
No,
hey,
I came back.
Wait, a defibrillator?
Awesome. They get back into another fight. This is like a scene right out at the beginning when they were in the jail, and she said, "It's not your fault. I know what you're going to do." And they're talking again. The droid is dying. This was interesting. You did have a good point. JJ said, how many of these detonators do they need to break the glass? The monster takes one bite and almost destroys all the glass in it, but they need 50 detonators just to open whatever they're doing. So I would thought that would have caused more of a problem than not. They get into their tubes. Who had a share? Who was sharing in? Can't remember who shared.
Sharing what?
Oh, it was Tech and Echo and Hunter and Crosshair.
Yeah, Hunter and Crosshair. Of course.
Why they didn't have Omega share?
There was another tube though. There was a tube behind them, afterwards. I don't even.
Oh yeah, too. The smallest person isn't the one that shares a tube. That makes no sense.
Yeah, no, it didn't either. That also didn't make sense.
That's like you let the smallest person sit up front in the front.
Star Wars, it is.
Great
call. Star Wars. This part we all think we saw coming. She gets trapped, but for some reason the robot didn't just float down there and grab the end that she's in and flick it around. It had to wait until it collapsed and try to pull the. That didn't make any sense either. But whatever. I didn't think it was that dramatic.
Trap or was it? Never tell me the odds.
Yeah, right. So it was a trap. They all pop up, and this is what you're talking about, where it was what was it called? Bioshock?
Bioshock, right? Yeah. The plane crash at the beginning, that's what it reminded me of.
Mm-hmm. Bioshock. The droid's dying, but said that's what it's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, Omega decides to jump in the water. This is Steve Horn, if he's still here. Okay, this is the point where I'm like, they went too far with this character. Like, why is she jumping in to save this droid?
It's like bad horror movie decisions.
Yeah.
Let's go hide in the graveyard.
Yeah, she's like at the top. She jumps back in, and then the thing's dragging her down too. She's passing out.
This droid was her companion, right? This was like she grew up.
Yeah.
with
But
no
she didn't
one.
seem to miss him very much
Yeah,
for the last
she
14
seemed-
episodes.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, she seemed to leave pretty easily without him a couple times till she accidentally found him again.
What she figured he's being taken care of when she left.
Yeah, it's a little different
By the
between
Empire.
leaving somebody behind and letting them sink to the bottom of the ocean.
She knew the Empire was bad. She left him with the Empire to be decommissioned, and that's okay.
Lama Stew.
Oh my gosh.
That was the Empire.
Yeah, like it's not like
Lama Stew's helper.
Okay. That's what we're doing now. Okay, so anyways, Crosshair decides to pull out his rifle. I didn't actually notice that it had the Gatling canopy underneath, but that shot definitely shows it. Goes down there, catches the droid, and Omega somehow holds on and comes up without falling off. I thought this was cool. He turned around and every Bad Batch member had a gun just pointed at his head, not playing. So he tosses the gun over to Wrecker. Wrecker then has the gun. They get out. She gives a speech about, why don't you just come with us, eh? And he's like, yeah, no, I'm still part of the Empire. They get into their little, they get into a little fight. And then he stays there and he didn't turn back. Now, at the end, they give us the namaste.
Reminded all the guys, that's still your brother.
Oh, yeah, she did say that. She said she was still, because remember, he made fun of her at one point, and she said, no, do remember, you're still my brother, and we're all still your brothers, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And they also confirmed she's older again.
Again, they did. Yep, 100%.
Reconfirmed it.
Reconfirmed that she was older. That was cool. I'm glad they did that. So that helped out. Then Namnase, Namasa, Nanamasa, she ends up, I think we all knew this, that they had captured her. And they are taking her in. And that's going to lead into some of our questioning. But before we get into that, an end scene. That was pretty cool. I hope they come back with this pretty quickly. I hope it's not a full year. I kind of want to see the other 16. So, all right. Since Jedi Johnson has given us the key that he hates this episode, I actually want to see why he dislikes it so much. So, Jedi, if you could... Well, you said somebody talked me out of why this wasn't the worst episode of the season. So
no, I understand why you're saying that. I mean, just for a finale, this was lacking a lot, in my opinion. And now, if this was episode 8 or 9, it would be a 4 easy. But it wasn't. This is the finale, and I just think it. Oh, God, let me go down my list. It didn't answer anything, I don't think, that we didn't really already know. Nothing really major anyway. Just everything that we already kind of knew. The only surprise, really, is that there wasn't any real surprises. You guys, like I said, I'm hoping you guys change my mind. You guys know more about the ins and outs, but hang on.
okay. Yeah, sorry.
Let me wrap it up. So I think... So I gave it a 3.5.
Okay.
I would have kind of wanted to give it less, but I liked AZ was actually the hero of this episode. I don't know if anybody, anybody
everywhere
argues that. Yeah,
he was saving everyone all the time.
Yeah, all through it, he was the hero. He's which is okay with me. He's my third favorite droid now. But it kind of bothered me a little bit because when they denied him a good death, a warrior's death, I just, as much as I like AZ, and part of me is glad, and there was a reason why, Crosshair did what he did. It showed, a sliver of goodness in him or whatever. It was such a good death that, I was literally tearing up a little bit. I'm just going to say it. I was actually tearing. It wasn't a Skywalker moment, but I was tearing. I was like, wow, that is such a great death. And then they saved him, and I was like, okay, I'm glad they saved him, but damn, man, that was a warrior's death.
You went from tearing up.
It was
over this episode.
It was a very Wall-E moment. I was like, oh, it's like Wall-E. His eyes go out.
Can you believe they saved him?
Yeah,
would have been a lot better if they let him die.
It would have been better, I think, if they let him die. I mean, it wouldn't have been a happy moment. I know Star Wars doesn't do that.
I know what you're saying.
Star Wars doesn't let people die. If they do, they come back in a spirit ghost or whatever. So there's probably some exceptions. I get that, but I just think that if they let him die, it would have been better. 3.5. There's something else. There's another point I wanted to make, but I can't find it in my scribble notes here. My wife, for those, this is what everyone really cares about, right? So she also gave it a 3.5.
Whoa. Okay.
Yep.
Really?
Why?
Yep. So, so my wife looks at it. She doesn't look at it as answering questions about, is this what's going to happen? Is Mama C, Mama Sa going to do what? She doesn't care about all that. She's what's in front of her, what she sees.
Right.
And she liked it. Like I said, we've said it several times, 3.5 is not a bad score.
No, absolutely not.
So she liked it. She loved the fact that Omega was saving Crosshair.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, that's my girl, and then she agreed with Marco 100%. When she jumped out of that tube to go to try and save AZ, she was like, stupid. Why are you doing that? So yeah, she gave it a 3.5.
Very
she
cool.
Enjoyed it. She thought it was a good show, but she wasn't really looking at it as a finale though, because she was very curious why I gave it what I did, and I was like, it just didn't answer a lot of questions for me.
Do you think this is the question I was going to ask you there, and when I was cutting you off, was like, do you think that part of it is because you get on every week and discuss stuff and you theory craft on it, that takes away a little bit towards the ending of these? I'm just, in your case, I mean, do you think if maybe? I mean, 3.5 is not a bad score. I'm just wondering, because like usually when you think like, oh, this didn't and I see it with myself all the time too, like doing a lot of this stuff, especially reading it, and then like everybody asks questions and they want answers, so then you theory craft and and I mean, even like the discussions we have in our personal groups are even more in depth than this. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I just hope that that's not hurting it. You know what I mean?
So I will admit to this 100%. If you think that makes me less of a Star Wars fan, whatever, I don't care. I'm a fandom. I'm looking for that oh my god moment.
Yeah, okay.
The Boba Fett showing up, the Vader, the whatever, a lot of the stuff we talked about, and it wasn't there. It wasn't there. So if that, and for some fans, they may be like, well, yeah, but this, that, and the other. But to me, I was expecting a series finale moment, and I didn't see it. And if you guys change my mind, I hope you do. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how many people. I think they try to do that with the Namaste. I'm not sure how many people.
But didn't we know that was already coming? We knew.
But that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm saying is like, because we talk about it every week. Is that why we're getting? I don't know. Anyways, Solo, you're up next. Maybe we'll have that question answered around the bend.
I'd like to give it a 2.5, but it was a 3.5. They did. Shannon said it too. The character building in this was really on point, really, really well. They showed Crosshair when he saved, with the harpoon gun, and as boring and large as a pain in the butt as running down the tube and stopping to talk, running down the tube and stop to talk, run down to, we're in this room, let's stop and talk, and it was just.
No sense of urgency.
There was so much that was unsensible about it.
You guys.
But I am glad that they saved the droid, AZ. I was glad that they saved AZ in the end, despite. And there's so many things that I could say just with, banter about, he's an anchor. He's got to have an air pocket inside him because he's a robot and it's got to be watertight. There's, so to help him float better, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter in the end. I wish they really would have gave us something a little bigger, something next. I did feel sad. I didn't think I was going to feel this sad, but watching Kamino go down, I kind of felt bad. I don't know. I did feel a little sad, But it wasn't a great episode. I wish they'd have gave us something more.
I think it's funny. Pete looks like he's standing in a urinal.
Waiting in line.
Pete, go ahead. What do you got?
You guys are killing me with this. You're complaining about character building? What do you want? You just want more explosions? You just want them blowing more stuff up? They just blew up all of Kamino last episode. What more do you want them to blow up? Yeah. Come on. And before we get to calling AZ an anchor, apart from the fact that, again, how many people did he save in this episode? And it's like, guess what? The dog fell out of the boat. Screw it. We'll just get a new dog. Nobody go save the dog because he fell out of the boat. Like, come on. Yeah, she had the reaction. I'm going to go save my pet, my friend, my loyal compadre for years as I was growing up. You're going to fault her for that. You guys are heartless.
All right, heartful one. What do you have for a score?
I liked it. I get what you're saying. A lot of running down tubes, a lot of talking, but I actually did enjoy the conversation, and I did enjoy like the character building because what it gave me was a real sense of, you know what? I don't know where they're going next. Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't know if Crosshair really didn't have the chip or what he's going to decide to do. I really didn't know where he was going to go or really what he was going to do. Like, throughout the episode or even going forward, even after they left it, I still don't know where they're going with him and the rest of them. Like, they could still switch it up. He can still join them. They could still be apart forever. I like that. I don't know. I enjoyed the episode. I'm going to give it a 4.5 because I liked the episode a lot. Personally, I enjoyed it. I didn't need a lot of action because I just got that. I look at like every season of Game of Thrones, the penultimate episode is the one you get the big fight, the big war, the Battle of the Bastards, all that. Then the next episode is the talking. It is the episode where you talk up, you set up what's going to come. I'm used to that. So this I was expecting.
That's a big score. No cliffhanger. I do like that especially if it's going to be a year out. I like that they didn't do a cliffhanger too. I mean, their cliffhanger is supposed to be the Namaste thing, I think. All right. JJ, this is going a different way. I thought it was going to go down, but it's looking like we're floating back to the top 2 in tubes. So here we go.
I'm gonna drag it back down like Omega did in that ocean.
All right, go ahead, JJ. Drag it down.
So actually, I'm not gonna be too harsh. I'm gonna go with a 3. But so before the show, a couple days before the show, I read a very interesting article on Screen Rant, which I usually hate that website, but they had a very interesting article that said the stakes for Bad Batch as a series have been incredibly low. No one dies. How many people died in the last 2 seasons of Clone Wars? And I'm not talking like main characters, but I'm like, you had like 5s get offed, and like, I mean, think of all those people.
Yeah.
There's no stakes here. Even AZ, the droid that we saw for a total of 3 episodes, lives by some miracle chance.
But nobody died in the first season. Who died in the first season of Clone Wars?
All the rookies in like episode 5. Oh, everybody except for 3 of them. And Heavy blew himself up with a
Heavy blew himself up.
Yeah, but that's still, you're talking about an army. You need to. They need that. This is different.
I don't know. Yeah, well, I think it is different. I think that's the thing. It's like on the level of Resistance was with like stakes.
How many core Star Wars characters died throughout the first trilogy?
That's what I was saying. It was core guys, not the idiots.
I'm not saying not even core guys die in this though. Who has died besides like the one nameless guy that Crosshair executed?
A bunch of Kamoans. What's his name? The Namaste's.
But we didn't even see him die. We just assumed he's died.
The senator.
He didn't die. He got shot and lived.
Yeah, he got shot and lived.
That's true. He did.
No, the senator, general, whoever,
Camino guy, the guy we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, but we just assumed he died. We don't
he's
know.
dead. Yeah, he's dead.
But
they implied in every way he's gone. He gone.
But I don't know. To me, it just seems like they've lowered the stakes a lot. They don't show any death, which is fine, I guess. But it's just, to me, like I saw this more coming out as like a continuation of Clone Wars, more than I did like a show where they kind of pared it down to like the stakes have lowered so much that.
Well, we know that everybody dies at the end, though. Like,
we
know the outcome? Yeah, we know the outcome of this.
Yeah, it's kind of gonna build there. I mean, how many seasons of G.I. Joe did we watch? Yeah, nobody died there either.
All right, go ahead. Wait, okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm taking it off the rails far enough, but I mean, and as far as like this show goes, like I kind of agree with Pete in that there's usually I've gotten used to that whole like there's a penultimate episode and then there's an episode to kind of like I guess, recap the season or to answer. But I don't even know that this answered a lot of the questions, at least around the Kaminoans and stuff. Like, remember when they said like, "Oh, we need to bring one of them back. It's important to us," and all that. Was it just important to keeping the Empire's contract? Was it important to their survival? I don't. There were some questions left unanswered that I would like them to wrap up a little bit better. And this episode seemed like it was it could have just been tacked on as 1 hour long episode to the other one.
Yeah, could have.
I mean, because it's basically them getting out. But I do like a little bit of the character development. I would have liked to have seen an actual answer too, as far as Crosshair, as far as like that actual redemption moment. Was it the saving of Omega? But he didn't rejoin anyone. He didn't go full Empire because he seemed like he had doubts all through the thing about whether or not he was very pensive mood of whether or not this was like, am I regretting what I'm doing? Should I go back to them?
I think that's the first time we got to see that though. The regret.
Yeah. No, I liked that as his character, but at the end, he just kind of stays there. So,
well, because he also did make a good point. Like when he made his point and argued, and was like, "Look, I swore allegiance to the Chancellor or whatever." It's like just because he renamed what this place is called doesn't mean I'm doing anything different. You call it Republic, you call it the Empire. I'm still in charge to who I said I was going to follow.
Somehow he kind of became my, even though he's the villain or the anti-hero, however you want to call it, he became kind of my favorite character this season, just because I think he was the realest character. And at the end, with his turn back, but not quite turn back, it was a little unsatisfying, but at the same time, it's him. And like he says, and you're getting what Crosshair is. And as Tech said, he's always been serious and unyielding. So how should this be any different? So I like that they didn't just all of a sudden say, "Oh, well, I'm going to throw all that away and go back to rejoin these guys," or "I'm good now all of a sudden." So I like that there's a little more ambiguity in there.
So there you go. You got 3 on that. Yep. And for what you just said is going to play into why I'm giving it 4, because they didn't just go the easy route. And actually, the one part that I disliked, I'll just give it out of the way, besides Omega trying to jump back and like the little things where they should have done that, was the 2. That was the dumbest part of it. They needed those talking parts, because the actual talking parts were very good. That like back and forth between Wrecker and Crosshair, they weren't yielding either. They played up to what their character would realistically say and how it'd go. And the way that Crosshair would act is exactly how he should act. And they didn't change any of that around to say like, "Oh, well, we understand where you're coming from. And you're right. Maybe we should think about going to the Empire, but why don't you?" No, they didn't. And what Tech said, I mean, there were some great lines. Like they really came together with some great lines in this story arc. I mean, in this episode, like there really was. The darkness, whatever. Okay. I get the thing, save a droid. Like some people like it, some don't. Like it was dumb, but still they got to use the harpoon thing. And then that led to all of them. You saw where the decision was there. They were no longer saying we're like they were saying we're brothers, but those guys were no longer like, "We're going to try to convert you, bro." They're like, "You mess up, we're shooting you in the head." You know what I mean? Like we got to see those portions of it. Do I think maybe sometimes, and I think this happens a lot because doing this type of thing, like, sometimes we can talk ourselves into that not being a surprise because we knew, did you catch what they said about Namaste? No. Now we know that they kidnapped her because she's going to do a cloning thing because shit on this show, we've already talked about the theories of what she could be cloning for. You know what I mean? Like we already were there with it. We were already there with, well, if they're going to do it like when they're like, we announced last week, season 2. Yeah, we knew that for a while. You know what I mean? Like that's stuff that maybe if we didn't know, would have made that element.
You spoil it for yourself sometimes when you do the research and that type of stuff.
Yeah, when we do that type of stuff. With that being said, I mean, I thought it was pretty good ending. I like that they didn't give like some out of left field, hanger. Like I hate when they do that with the show when it's like, okay, cool, we paid a lot of attention, whatever. Now you're going to throw a curveball at the end that nobody understands, and you have a whole year to wait. Like we get something's going on with cloning. We get that Crosshair is now at a crossroads where we do not know which way he's going to go. We know firmly where the Bad Batch stands on this point, though. Okay, like we did get some ending. We got some clarity to the episode. And as for an ending, I thought it was pretty good. As for an ending that's leading into season 2, and then it gives it because I just said they're all dying, and you said, "Do we know that for sure?" Well, there we go. We don't, but we're already theorizing on what's going to happen next season. Which, if that's the case, I think that's a pretty good ending. So I'm giving it for it.
I missed the part of the review, but so there's still obviously regs in the Empire's army, right? Because that one that came up to Rampart, he was a clone, right?
Yes, it seems to be so.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they didn't get rid of him yet.
Yeah,
but we also got to see that. We got to see. Now it's not what I wanted for the War of Kamino. Like I wanted the War of Kamino, but we got to see at least that's out of the way. They closed that chapter. At least now we know why there are no clones left. Like they've explained that they've closed down a chapter on that.
Is this the only city?
The clone said like the cities are.
He said the cities. He said plural.
Yeah.
He said plural. He said the cities are all destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of explained kind of a hanging out there.
That was not much of a
no, it wasn't
response or whatever on the part of the comment. No, it's like we're just gonna get blown up from the sky. Like all this cloning technology, you think they would have somehow created an army for themselves or some sort of military aspect with which to defend themselves. But
yeah, I think we still might see something. I think that the Namaste was a little bit different because she was working on a lot of stuff. It seems behind everybody else's back. So who knows what's going to happen there. But that's it. All right, so let's give it to it because Ruben wants, I guess a couple other people do. Overall as the season, I don't need a whole explanation. We're just going to run through it real quickly. We'll go in Pete, we'll start off with you, then we'll go JJ. What did you have for the whole season?
For the whole season, I liked it. 4.
4? Okay. JJ, what do you got?
I'd go 3.5.
Okay. Solo?
I think I'd have to go 4.
Yeah, there you go. And Jedi.
I'm going to go 4 because, just real quick, I did not think I would like this series as much as I do. And I certainly didn't think my wife would get into it. So the way she has. So yeah, 4. I thought it was great.
I'm gonna have 4 too, and I think some of the stuff that I wanted to have happen didn't happen, and some of the other things that did happen, I was surprised at. So I can't complain. Now I think you have to take it as a whole too, though. If they, I kind of want to see the Voss thing. I hope they get to that. If they don't, it's okay, but whatever. I hope they kind of move a little away from Sid, and they have to die. Like if they don't die, like I'm gonna have a problem with that. So.
You just got mad at me for saying the stakes aren't high enough. You're killing them all.
Oh, they're gonna all die at the end.
Sundance episode where they just end it like, all right, they're gonna die, but you don't see them die.
Well, they could do Shane.
I don't think that's the thing, though. I don't think they'll have anybody die. The stakes are so low. They can't even kill off the droid that was only in 3 episodes. And Rebels, they killed off Kanan for crying out loud.
That's what I think. I think they're setting once again. I think it's setting up for the second season. Yeah, they need a second season, so they're going to kill everybody off at the end of the second season. I think they're setting all up.
Second season.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, hey. It's coming. All right.
Clone Wars, when they brought Clone Wars back for season 7, it wasn't all super chipper.
No,
they brought it back. We got to tell the story we got to tell.
We were going to do part 2, the Luke hand first, but I think we're going to do it second now. So we're going to do part 1 first, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. It's a trap. Part 1. Oh, look at that. Okay, here we go. Part 1 is the Great Clone Conspiracy. Go ahead.
Yep. Okay, so taking off from where we left off, speaking of conspiracy theories and other such things, looking forward to season 2. This basically is going to explore how the Empire got in the business of cloning and whether or not Palpatine himself, what his end game was. Was it the cloning technology? Is that the reason he started the war? So, next slide.
Okay.
Okay, so for this might go over some that's people that already know stuff and some people that don't. If you read the novels and stuff, this will cover a little bit of ground for you if you don't read them. But you got Sifo Dyas. Is it Sifo? Sifo Dyas. Sifo Dyas, who basically grew up in the Jedi Order as Dooku's best friend. But he had a kind of a somewhat unique, I guess, among Jedi, it's probably not as unique, ability to kind of foresee the future through visions. Mm-hmm. And he came to fruition that eventually Dooku would obviously leave and Sifo Dyas would stick around. Sifo Dyas eventually got to serve on the council, but through a vision, he saw basically the war coming. and he saw the Jedi at that point in the Republic were defenseless, and they needed an army, and he begged the Council they need to create an army, and the Council, if you go to the next slide for me,
Yep.
basically said, "You're crazy, get out." So they basically kicked him off the Council because they thought he was a little too radical. So then he basically ends up kind of defying any such order. He's still a Jedi at that point, but he's off the Council, and he decides, well, I'm basically just going to do an end around and do it myself. So he ends up contacting kind of in secret the Kaminoan government, namely Lama Su.
Was it the vision thing too? Because they felt it was a little bit of the dark side. Because sometimes they say the dark side.
Yeah, and that was right around like just after Dooku had left. So they're like, "Oh, he's kind of touched by the dark side," and they were very nervous about that thing and the whole Lost 20 deal too. So anyways, he ends up contacting the Kaminoan government, and they agree. Okay, well, we'll start this thing. But he kind of tricks them into saying it's on the behalf of the Republic that I'm doing this. It's not just my own thing, which was false. But so shortly after he made that secret deal,
he didn't take his work ID. That's why he's like Jedi Council member. So right there.
That's right. Look at this. But shortly after that, he's actually killed by the Pikes when he was sent on a diplomatic mission. I can't remember what the mission was for now all of a sudden, but he was sent on a diplomatic mission by the actual Chancellor at that point. But he was killed by the Pikes on the mission. And about 10 years later, which we see in Attack of the Clones, is when Obi-Wan is tracking Jango Fett. He ends up tracking him to Kamino, where that's where kind of like they're, oh, well, he must be here to check on the clone army. And Obi-Wan's, what clone army? What are you talking about? And that's where you learn that Sifo-Dyas had contracted the Kaminoans to make a clone army. And the Jedi were unaware of it until that point. So hit the next slide for me. So Sifo-Dyas, in the meantime, obviously dead, but it ended up being taken over, I guess his duties or whatever was taken over by a guy named Tyrannus, or at least that's how the Kaminoans knew him. And he basically gave them what they needed to do the cloning, which was the genetic template of Jango Fett. And also he presented them with this inhibitor chip that he said was to prevent the clones from falling victim to any rogue Jedi. And then from there, you saw years later into the Clone Wars, Plo Koon finds Sifo-Dyas' lightsaber. So it begins an investigation into how exactly Sifo-Dyas died. Hit the next slide for me. It turns out during that investigation, we find out that Dooku was actually Tyrannus. And the Jedi came to find out that it was actually Dooku who basically not necessarily commissioned the army, but basically was responsible for the creation army, at least as far as the genetic template and all that. But they didn't know the extent to which Dooku was involved. They just basically eventually ended up finding out that Dooku not only killed basically a guy who used to be his best friend, but he also had a hand somehow with the Kaminoans in the creation of the army. And hit the next slide for me.
They weren't supposed to kill him, though, right? They were supposed to kidnap him, correct?
Who? Dyas?
The Pikes were supposed to kidnap Dyas.
No, I think they were supposed to kill him.
Were they?
Because he was impersonating the end goal of Dooku was to impersonate Sifo-Dyas to the Kaminoans. But it ended up being a more public. That's what kind of created this own guy that said, "I'm Tyrannus. I'm working with Sifo-Dyas." He wasn't. But so then we ended up with later on in the Clone Wars, we ended up with Fives. Who Fives was basically one of the guys tasked with investigating why this. I think it was Tub. Was it Tup? Was that the clone trooper that went kind of crazy and killed the Jedi? I think originally. Yeah, but so it was Tup. They ended up investigating this incident, why he went rogue and tried to kill a Jedi. And through that investigation, Fives figures out the inhibitor chips thing. And Fives was the one who basically found out what the Protocol 66 was, which was that the clones were going to be the ones to assassinate the Jedis eventually. And it ended up Nala Se and Lama Su were in on that. They kind of knew about Protocol 66, we know, because they basically went up and said, when Tup killed that Jedi, they were like, oh, there's been an early activation of Protocol 66. This is outside the parameter or whatever. So, but that's how it came to be. And Fives ended up dying because he tried to assassinate Palpatine due to him finding out that he was involved in the plot. So now you got basically what we've learned at the end of the Clone Wars was obviously that Nala Se basically had all the, or I should say what we learned in Bad Batch was that Nala Se was responsible for the genetic enhancement, specifically in her personal lab of all these clones. And we also know that Palpatine was after basically the secrets of the cloning program. And that was what he really wanted with the whole clone army and the Empire. So the question becomes, if you go to the next slide for me, was the Clone Wars, the whole Clone Wars, all just a plot that Palpatine planned out to begin with in order to get that clone technology? Or was it just kind of a coincidence that everything kind of fell into place the way it did?
Okay, who wants to start it off? Go ahead, JJ. Start it off.
All right, I'll go. So I think definitely it was all plotted out. If you look at everything, everyone that focuses on the clones, Tyrannus taking over after Sifo-Dyas, and plus Dooku's connection to Sifo-Dyas, everything else, it all aligns perfectly with basically Palpatine having planned out this whole thing, whether or not through seeing like the future or basically just an entire plot. But we know that he was controlling all the stuff happening behind the scenes with the Separatists throughout the whole thing. Via Dooku. So, it stands to reason that basically we also know that he wanted to be immortal when he gives his little speech about Darth Plagueis. So the clone army, or the cloning technology, I should say, behind the clone army, and that especially that enhancement of the clones was, I think, what he was really after all along. And that's why he started the war.
Yeah. I think it's a mixture when you figure in the fact that he also needed the war to kind of put himself in like emergency powers where I control everything. Like it all kind of came together, like I think for both. But yeah, I think it was all part of his plan. I agree with you. I'm also on the never tell me the odds side of things here. Because apart from just kind of perfecting a cloning process, I guess when you also get to Lama Se, Lama Sam, or Lakusa, like, yes, maybe that a little added extra that she's able to do with the Bad Batch. And if Omega has any form of, I know it doesn't look like it, but in case she does have any form of force sensitivity, that could have been part of his goal, because of course he's going to need a clone, to be force sensitive to allow him to, continue to be.
Yep. So how I understand his dark side, like all the dark side guys had, or all Jedi, almost everybody with a power, and we're seeing it more in the High Republic, they all have a secondary, let's call it power, like a special secondary power. The Emperor's secondary power is he can see pathways of the future. Now, not all pathways happen the way he sees it, a lot like Sifo-Dyas, but he does see pathways to the future. So I think, I don't think this is a trap. I actually think that this is probably the route they might actually be going with this, and because part 2 is going to play into it, so I'm already setting up for it. But I think that he had a pathway too where Luke actually does, he saw a pathway where Luke actually does kill Vader and he becomes his apprentice. That was a pathway that he saw. I think the pathway he saw here too was that just in case that pathway doesn't work, I have a backup plan. I have my own Order 66 backup plan, and my Order 66 backup plan is get the technology because I need to have a, not just a clone body, but I understand because he's probably been, I think it'll be very interesting if we ever get a Bane story, right? Like the Bane into the Plagueis storyline, because if we can get to Plagueis, then we can find out how much Palp knows about body transferring and that the body falls apart and you need something special. And then if it comes down to that, it has to be a certain type of metachlorine, but we'll get into that later. Count to hold the force, that might play out. But I think since he can see the pathways, there is a very strong possibility that, yes, this was one of his fail safes, that if he didn't either get Luke to take over and then he was able to take over Luke's body, that he would then have another body to transfer his life force into. But so I say, never tell me that.
This is from the chat, though. Like, yes, it would be less convoluted to avoid this. But like I said, he still needed the clone army, not only to have somebody to take down the Jedi and basically take the power, I think, like away from the Jedi, where they're not, hey, what are we going to do? We got to fight these separatists. I mean, he was playing both sides. He was directing Dooku and the separatists and the droids, as well as building the army that's going to fight this other army that was built.
And it didn't seem
taking the Jedi out of the equation and putting them on the sidelines while building 2 people to fight, make him important, put him in emergency power position, and also have a backup plan to, besides the army that I built, they're going to take out those Jedi. that I put on the sidelines anyway.
It actually seems pretty easy. It actually seems pretty easy when you think about it, because he's like, hey, listen, I already have to take over the Republic. Might as well just blow him up with. I mean, it wasn't hard. He kidnapped one and shot somebody in the head. He didn't even have to do that. He's like, yeah, go out there, shoot the one, kill it, and blow up the whole planet.
No, don't forget, he was the guy who also sent Anakin to kill off the Separatists. In Revenge of the Sith. So
kill off the
he didn't care too much for the Separatists in the end.
No.
He
Didn't.
got what I needed.
That's it. He just got what he needs.
He's got the army now and the means to take care of the only police force, or whatever you want to call the Jedi.
Because I guess the other question is, wouldn't it be easier? And think about this: wouldn't it be easier if he didn't actually have regs? Wouldn't it just be easier if he had a uniform clone army, and they could? I mean, it's easier to create brainwashed troops that can do whatever you want and do whatever's going on, and just send them out there, and they're unlimited. They never change their mind. They don't have free thought, so they're not going to backstab you. They're not going to send a shot down they're not going to send a shot down an air vent. They're not going to help protect. There's no rebellion, right? Like if you have clones, there's no rebellion at all. Luke never leaves Tatooine and show's over. So there you go.
Yeah, that too.
And you need to, like you said, he had to get up to kind of a certain. We'll get into more later, but he had to get up to a certain level of, cloning technology. Had to advance to a certain point, I guess, that would fit his needs. So he had to drag it out for several years. He couldn't just be like, hack into their system or something and steal the technology.
All right, I got my Nokia. We don't have to go any further with this phone technology.
Had to be developed.
Plus Star Wars.
Yeah, that too.
Star Wars. All right. Does anybody else have anything to add on? Who else did we miss? Anybody? Keep going up top.
Yeah, I'll go. I really want to say it's a trap just because it seems so convoluted to do all that just for the cloning. Because once you take over, you just take over the Caminos as well. But it wouldn't ever go back and explain all of the other stuff, like the whole chip in Order 66 to begin with. I'm 60-40, maybe 70-30, but I'll never tell me the odds, because that explains and would make a lot more sense.
Jedi.
God, I hope it's a trap, because good luck explaining and getting your casual fans to understand everything you guys just talked about. Good God. I hope it's a trap, but you know what? I think it makes a lot of sense. Kind of, from what I could, pack away, and I'll have to digest a lot of it, but I'll say never tell me the odds, but yeah, it's going to be a hard explanation to digest, a lot of this.
But what happens if they put it in a novel, right? Like, what happens if it's like when you said,
well, then you're not going to reach the casual fan. If you
right. But some of their novels aren't out there for casual fans. You know what I mean? Like some of that stuff out there. Like, I mean, we can talk about how great Dark Disciples is. That's not a casual fan book. You know what I mean? Even The Hope, the one that has the Hera and Kanan original story. Go ask a casual fan if they even know what you're talking about. They don't know that exists.
Well, the casual fan is getting the Goonie knife in Rise of Skywalker. Hey, well, let's find out where the hidden place is. Let's hold the knife up in a certain beach, and we can say, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
That's what we're giving the casual fan.
Well, and don't forget too.
I think it's very interesting. I would love to see it play out and how they explain it all. It makes sense both from what JJ was saying and what Pete brought up about how you're kind of playing two games of chess at the same time, trying to merge them into kind of one victory kind of thing. But it'll be cool. So never tell me the odds, but it's going to be a challenge for them to break it down.
All right, cool. Well, sounds good. We're going to do another one. I think JJ's got to step out for a minute, but do you have like 2 seconds to go over the first or no? I'm just on my own on that.
Do what now?
Okay, I'm going to start the second one. We're going to see if you can introduce it or not.
Yeah, I'll introduce it.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right, so part 2 was something that I really was into, and I was like, I don't care. We're going to do 2 parts because if we're doing part 1, we got to do part 2 on this. And it's part 2 of the great. Go ahead. JJ started off for us.
So it's all about part 2 of the clone conspiracy. The Skywalkers are going to give Palpatine a hand. So basically, we kind of talked about this a second ago, and I'll let Marco take over here after this. But basically, we talked about one of the reasons why Palpatine was so interested in the clone technology is he also had to create a powerful enough version of the clone, a clone of himself, in order to gain the immortality or whatever his end goal be. So basically, to do that, he needed the genetic material of other powerful beings. So don't want to bring up metachlorians, but the metachlorian count of other people. If you want to, they kind of just did away with metachlorians, but that's basically what he needs. So, Marco, I'm gonna let you take over. I got.
All right, So, Skywalker's dropping the DNA across the galaxy. There's Anakin's hand, and there's also Luke. Both of them lose it to the acolytes. Darth Sidious, obviously, and Count Dooku or Palpatine. How and even if the Empire was able to gather these okay, so the first one, and this is a question that came up, is like Anakin's hand. I think that would be a tough one to gain, but we do know from the comics that like Luke's hand ended up. There's an Ugnaught that ended up holding it for a while, and we also saw another character. We saw where it was. It seems like his hand is around someplace, and if you really wanted to get his hand, you could. The Mandalorian showed us that the Empire sought out the DNA of other Force users as well, including Grogu. In Legends, in Timothy's books, Thriller Trilogy, there's even a direct connection to Luke's hand, creating a Skywalker clone named, yes, it was named Luke Skywalker with 2 U's. That's not a misspelling. That's what they did. That's how dumb some of that stuff was. Yeah. So, here's it is. I can see it. Make anything. Blah, 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 blah. Palpatine can use the hand for things. He can use the hand for things. This year, Vader 11 showed us that on his secret planet of Exegol, Palpatine was keeping a hand and using it to make a version of clone like Snoke's, as you can see in the background. The comic doesn't make clear whose hand this is, though given the timeline and looks of the hand, it appears to be that of Luke Skywalker. Which I think, they would have done something twitchy with Darth Vader if it was Anakin's hand. Okay, so was this part?
Hey, that's my hand.
Right. Was this part of Palpatine's plan all along? The war was really for the use of the Skywalker hand. Never tell me the odds. This hand was foreseen by Palpatine as being the key to developing his cloning program and thus immortality, or it's a trap. No. This just seems like a happy coincidence. People lose hands in Star Wars all the time. That's a true fact, though. I mean, honestly, JJ, thank you for that, because that is a true fact. They always do lose hands all the time. Obviously, I think when we were talking about the cloning portion of this, like, why would you? I mean, I know this is a huge go down the rabbit hole, but like, if you're gonna set this all up if you see that pathway that you need the cloning technology, which obviously he has, because they didn't erase the last 3 movies, no matter what your opinion is on that movie. Even when Timothy had his books out there had to be a little bit of cloning going on, and there was the Luke Skywalker. There has to be a point where that hand, because they keep bringing it back in, makes a difference. In 11, we did see it in the jar, and we saw whatever cloning was going on in the background in Exegol. It seemed that they may have been using that for it. Yes, I know the metachlorian thing is kind of not what it was, but that is kind of the theory, that they needed a powerful being, and since it's a direct descendant and could be, you remember, it's multiple pathways. So the chosen one could be Anakin Skywalker, or the chosen one in one pathway could have been Luke Skywalker. Either one could have been the pathway of being the chosen one. I know it's a lot, but that's the nerdiness of Star Wars. This is what me and JJ.
What the hell?
It could have been Leia too. It could have been Broom Boy.
Story.
Well, it could have been Broom Boy. I mean, it could have been, but like, this is the weird stuff where me and JJ start going crazy and love it, because it's like, oh, this could be a possibility. I think if they do it that way, they can fix some of the stuff in the last movie. Right?
To address the things in the chat real quick about him having Anakin's DNA. don't forget he was all about keeping secrets from Anakin, because Exegol was a secret the whole time, and he didn't necessarily always think Anakin would be his apprentice, going forward for all time. That might be somebody else. He constantly had other apprentices and people pitted against Anakin.
Mhm.
So the fact that he might keep Anakin's hand or whatever, being a super powerful Force user, to clone from and keep that a secret from him, wouldn't be highly unusual.
Yeah, I think, so like if you want to make, I'm just thinking like if you want to make the Timothy stuff kind of work and be able to rewrite it and do pretty decent with it and make some sense out of it and why there's a hand in the jar and why do you keep bringing it up, I think that obviously, like, don't tell me the odds, the hand is something that he foresaw too, which would then play into what we talked about in the first portion, why you would need the cloning technology, because now you have the cloning technology, you saw that coming, and now you're going to clone yourself. Why Luke's?
Yeah, like I don't know.
Because it's easy, because it's there.
In playing that it's a trap, and it's there, but
whether
they
his own DNA
Ruben
be
pointed
easier?
out, whether they had Anakin's hand or not, he had Anakin right there.
No.
Why does he need Anakin's offspring's DNA to clone a body? Like,
well, I think if you're, I don't think he's, because if you think about this, if you're the guy who killed your master because you figured out that he can transport into bodies, are you telling your apprentice that can happen? Because then what happens when he kills you off, it doesn't let you transfer into a body?
And
I think he also thought,
did he not expect in the very end of Return of the Jedi, he's telling him, pick up your lightsaber, strike me down, and take your, so
he could transfer bodies
by your father's side, thinking all along, yeah, you can kill me, but I'm going to come back. I already have clones in place. None of you know this. So now you and Vader are ruling the world, or the galaxy or whatever. And I still have a play in this.
and don't forget, he also told Luke to kill his father at one point.
He did.
So,
To kill him. To kill him. I mean, what I'm saying is I don't know how the cloning works, because it doesn't work like it used to in the books. But if we're doing how the cloning might work, you might need like a severed hand in really good shape that's not all burnt up or cut up or slashed up. And it seems like Luke's hand makes a pretty good, strong case to being the reason why he needed the technology in the first place to go there. And yeah, he definitely didn't tell Darth Vader about it. And if you're going to need his DNA, you're going to have to keep going back to, like, hey, Darth, go sit in the chair real quickly and let me extract some more DNA from you. That's what we're doing? Or like, hey, I hope it didn't all burn up. You know what I mean? Like,
all right, we're taking down the rebels. We're about to blow up Endor. I got Vader to bring his kid here. All right, we got him. I got a whole Death Star full of stormtroopers. If I need a hand, can't I just take his other hand?
No, I think at that point, but I think because
I'll take a foot if a foot will work.
At that point, I think he already has bodies ready. Like, are we not under the impression that's like,
I think the ball's rolling.
Yeah, like what Solo said, strike me down. He's not telling him. Pal didn't want anybody else to take over. He wants to be the main Darth, right? Like the strike me down thing wasn't like strike me down so that you could take over.
That was his you wait down in the bottom of this tube. At some point, a hand is going to fall. Maybe a lightsaber. Duck, but just keep an eye on the hand.
Joe, come on, man. He could have.
So
good enough.
But I think what he was trying to do was trying to get struck down so that he could come back in another one, being as close as he was in the cloning process. So then, once Vader and Luke were ruling the galaxy, then he had two master apprentices that he could, manipulate and keep going around and keeping the Empire controlling and running everything. And now he's immortal, because now I think he was a collector of body parts anyway. I don't think he necessarily was leaving anything. Well, he wasn't leaving anything to chance. I think he had some of Vader's parts. I think he had some of Luke's parts.
Okay.
He
hold on.
He did. He's plan C, plan D, plan
he could try to do it. Like maybe one didn't work out. Maybe one didn't work. Oh, maybe one did.
Do you risk getting yourself struck down on the chance that you're ready, that your cloning process is ready? And if your cloning process was ready, then what the hell were the last 3 movies about then?
Star Wars.
Well, I don't think it was.
It was already by Jedi. What the hell was he waiting for?
I don't think it was even ready. I think it was
going to chuck him down the tube.
I don't think it was necessarily ready. It was it might have been ready by Return of the Jedi, but
by Return of the Jedi. Yeah.
I think it was because that comic Darth Vader 11 takes place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
So he's already I mean he's on his way to get it. The Mustafar, am I wrong with this? But those body parts are burnt. Like there's nothing left. Like
oh, you're talking about like his legs and stuff?
Yeah, because they're like, his arms and legs are there.
They're
not there really. They're a bunch of ash. Like I don't know.
He didn't have the high ground. So
yeah, he had no high ground on that one.
He didn't have the high ground.
The stars got burnt, but the pieces could have fell on the beach a little higher up.
They were in the lava. You saw him burning. Like no.
That was the carterized. I'm saying it was the stars were burning, but they got cut off when Obi was like.
And it could, I don't know, who knows? The hand in the jar maybe not be the hand that Dooku cut off. It could, if it's Anakin's hand, it could be, from his body. I don't know. It could be Luke's hand. They weren't really very clear on that part.
All right, the chat's the chat's got it.
Like hands.
New Skynet 2000. The chat's good. This is doing good. Everybody's there. Paul, what's going on too? All right, so yeah, I mean that's my opinion is like I never tell me the odds. I definitely think that this could all play into it and could actually clean up some of the last three, because then it kind of makes some sense. Like, all right, well, maybe he was trying other things too, and that's how we get messed up, snooky, and maybe this, maybe that, and maybe they hadn't got the final batch ready, and that's why he's melting. But he was trying to use the Luke Skywalker DNA, which would give him Skywalker DNA, because
trust me, as convoluted as this seems, it's not
it's a lot
convoluted as Timothy Zahn's Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, the Luke. That's what I was saying.
That was convoluted.
That thing was so bad. And then remember, it was like 15 different, and then what clone did what, and it was. That's what I'm saying. They're cleaning it up. Like this sounds bad, but this is like we took the Bible and we shortened it down to a kiddie book now. Like this is the kiddie book version of what the old cloning policy used to be. So I don't know. Does anybody have that? It is never. Does any Jedi? I want to think what Jedi is thinking. Like I want to see what's in his head. Because I know he thinks we're crazy, but like,
man, I had so many things to say, but you guys were just on a roll, and I couldn't get anything in. But
sorry,
that's okay. No, but you guys were just having too much fun. So why, if the Emperor wanted Luke to strike him down, and I get maybe Vader didn't know, why would Vader stop Luke from striking him down? Vader stopped him. Luke was going to strike him down, and Vader stopped him.
Yeah, because that was when Vader turned, right?
He did. I don't think he
didn't want
Luke
his son to do
Jedi.
that, to just turn to the dark side.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying Vader didn't know?
No, didn't know.
Anakin always mucking things up.
Yeah, just because Anakin messed stuff up.
He turned. Well, it's like on the Grinch. His heart got 3 times bigger and busted out of the little box, and he was like, I don't want this for my kid because I've been tortured by this guy for how many
Well, then the Emperor should have been really pissed, right? The Emperor's like, damn it, Vader.
He wasn't really happy.
He had a body to go like
I think at that point,
I was this close.
One of the pathways was he's going to get thrown down a shaft and somehow still be alive, which they still never explained that. Like I don't get that, but like,
and I guess he
went
needed
to the other
Vader's. So Luke and Vader are like the ultimate specimens because Palpatine is a pretty freaking strong Jedi user himself. He couldn't just like sever I don't need this pinky. Let me just cut that mug off and keep it for later, and then clone off that thing.
Clone me. Why not clone me?
Clone me. I'm a strong ass Force user. Why do I need these Skywalker screw ups?
Is he though? He's not. Go ahead. JJ.
I was gonna say, so if you go back to like the Plagueis and the immortality thing, this is going to be a long call off for a lot of people, but the Old Republic era, I always mispronounce his name, but Vishay, which was like the Sith Lord of all Sith Lords in the Old Republic, basically he killed off, like basically he sacrificed an entire planet of Force users and Sith, to basically become immortal. So you have to have all that. He didn't do it through cloning. He did it through basically like a Sith ritual. But, the fact remains the same that you have to have a lot of other Force users basically to power your body.
House was going for a 10, where the other guy who did it with 5 2s.
Yeah, more or less.
Yep.
Okay. I got the concept.
Yeah, I mean it's a mess up concept, but like it's a cleaner one if you use a hand of that. Like as far as the metachlorian thing, I think that's where they are trying to go. Yeah, I know we're not supposed to say it, but I think that's kind of where they're going. So they prove that they're the ultimate being. So they
his metachlorian count is higher than Yoda's.
And by the way,
as high as Yoda's or whatever.
By the way, too, Palps was chosen because he was good and maybe could have been there, but like he wasn't chosen because he was thought to be able to be taken over easily. That's why he was chosen. He wasn't chosen because he was the chosen one. You know what I mean? I mean, he was the chosen one for that, but he wasn't chosen because he was some great Force user. That's not his treachery was better than anything else, and probably better than Plagueis and them.
I know it's Legends probably, but I remember. I didn't read this. I'm sure if I did, I read it on the internet. Palp like controlled and again, Legends. He like controlled an entire planet population at one time, right? Wasn't there like a story arc or something where he like had this entire planet thinking they were in like utopia. Meanwhile, they're like ravaging and stealing all the planet's resources and stuff. I didn't dream this.
I think you're confusing this with Rick and Morty. You're thinking of Unity.
I read this somewhere. Okay, my mission this week is to find that.
Find that out. It might be be.
There were some crazy legend stories.
Yeah, there were some crazy legend stories. Like
it was definitely Legends. It was definitely Legends.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of familiar, actually. But
no, but you remember to sum it all up. Can my boy Palps just get a hand?
Or two.
He's got one already.
He's got one in a jar. He's got one in a jar. But yeah, I mean, I think that's it. Like, I actually kind of, as much as I dislike the last 3 movies, if they clean up the cloning process because I was so upset with the cloning thing, like, because we remember the legacy, we remember the legacy messed up, like Luke, 6U Luke's. Like, what is that, dude? Like, as much as like Timothy and his writing, like that 6U Luke thing was, I know it's because he had to do it because of the rest of the storyline because they were going to do Dark Empire, but like that was stupid.
Why did you call him like Duke Skywalker or something?
Dude, you would get confused with G.I. Joe at that point.
Yeah,
when you were saying
better
that
to put an extra U in there,
thinking,
that makes a lot more sense.
It was literally Luke with 2 U's. That was the clone that came out of that.
What was it?
I like T. Jones' comment there too.
What was it? Go ahead. We'll check.
I almost feel ashamed for saying this, but this is where my mind went when you were saying that Luke or whatever, and of course being a clone or whatever. My mind went to, for those that watch Preacher, the Preacher series. You gotta know about the clone in that one.
I always think of Chris Farley. Is it Tommy Boy in the fan?
Oh, yeah.
But I like T. Jones' comment because
I would.
Legends, but don't forget, Vader also uses the cloning technology. And
he does. He does actually use
make Starkiller. Well, Starkiller's clone.
Which, we'd have to, but they'd be like at that. It'd be around 11. It would be. You'd have to he would have had to know it from Exegol already, which I don't think he found.
Yeah,
he would have had to know it by after New Hope, right?
I would love that, but I don't think we'll ever see Starkiller.
Yeah, I don't think
not in the form of actual Starkiller. I wish we would, because
unless Palps made Starkiller Luke's hand instead of making Luke.
Instead of making Luke.
W triple U Luke.
Jesus, how are any of us married?
I want to have a conversation with Marco about the sequels. We can have a conversation. It ain't gonna go pretty well. My conversation is gonna be like this: J.J. Abrams should never be in charge of anything again. At least Rian Johnson can make a entertaining movie.
There was a Reddit comment, and I'm afraid I can't remember the user's name. When I was researching stuff for the cloning thing, I came across an interesting Reddit thread. But one of the best comments was,
"Aren't they all?"
It said basically, this is Disney's quote saying, "It's like, we've changed the sequels. Pray that we do not change them again." And the guy was saying, "These sequels keep getting worse all the time." Like Lando.
Pray do not alter it further.
Oh man. Maybe we will. Maybe one time when it gets a little slower, which we'll have a little bit of slow time now that Bad Batch is off. Maybe that's something we'll do. Maybe we'll tier list and then we'll discuss. Man, those are so miserable. I still haven't watched the last one. I haven't watched it again yet. And maybe I should, I don't know, maybe I should talk to Comic Book Jesus and get some edibles, and then maybe that'll make it better. Cause
can we tier list Luke clones?
Oh yeah,
lick a toad or a bag.
No, I think we should, because I'm not sure that people like. I know I got a lot of hate there originally because I was talking like there's that part where everybody's like, just bring back Legacy. It's the greatest thing ever, and I was like, You didn't read Legacy then, because it ain't the greatest thing ever. There's a lot of junk out there. And I think if we tier list Luke clones and you find out that like some of the stuff they did, like, yeah, Star Killer was great. The rest of them, remember?
So I went and I've been rewatching. I rewatched episodes 7 and 9 because I refused to watch 8. 7 and 9 were not as bad when I watched them the second time as they were as I thought they were the first time. Now, maybe me. Now 8, I refuse to watch 8 again.
Let's just
I'm with Jedi. That's my feelings on it.
Worms closed for right now.
I hate 7 and 9. Yeah, he's got to go back to vacation. I hate 7 and 9. I think 8's the only one that's worth watching. That's it. I mean, like, yeah, there we go. All right. Well, we'll talk about it. Maybe next week, maybe the week after. Hey, by the way, everybody over at Rennavision, check out Wednesday. We're trying to line up people. We just got a rejection again. I don't know who I'm going to have with me, but maybe.
I don't know if I'll be able to sneak on Wednesday. But
yeah, so we might have an interesting show on Wednesday. We'll try to get together. Make sure you're checking everything out here on the Tales Channel 2, the Sunday show, which is us. Monday, you got the main show. I hear MCM might have something really cool coming up on Saturday. Hopefully it works out for them. Do go over there. Say hi to Jen. Tell her we miss her.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll see her pretty soon on Tuesdays because they do the comic book women. And then Wednesday you have... it's going to be an interesting Wednesday this week. We have the boys over there. We have Rob Fordham and the boys over there from Foreign Comics doing a little spot. Oh, no, that's on Thursday. Sorry.
They're doing that on Thursday.
Yeah. Deal or Flipside.
Wednesday, yeah, Deal or Flipside. And then, Wednesday, she'll be watching Rennavision because it's going to be me looking like an idiot all by myself, picking my nose. Yeah, just saying.
I love you guys over Tales, but come on.
Yeah. I mean, we all by myself. So anyways, do that. Do what you should. Make sure, once again, you get everybody you can to go over to Rennavision. Sub up. Make Pete have to sweat it. Because if you want the show, if you want Pete on Wednesday, the way to get it is get 1,000 subs before Wednesday. Then he's got to do the Wednesday show. All right. That's all we got, guys. Let's take it out from there. May the force be with you always. And where is this thing? Thanks for all the help.
Club.